Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's been 2 weeks now, Rector. It has been far too damn long. We were here on the 16th. I've been needing to get some League of Legends in, and we're getting exactly that. I'm Echo K, and I'm joined, of course, by the one, the only. This time, he's over here on this side. Normally, I'm on the left, but it's Rector. How you feeling tonight, man?
You know, I'm feeling great. I know both of us have been like, a Disturbed album from the mid-2000s. We were down with the sickness, but we're getting better now. And you only can get even better when we're talking about playoffs and NECC. League of Legends, like, put it right in my veins, is better than Dayquil.
Definitely so. Your semifinals coming around. But yeah, both been somewhat sick. I'm still a little sick. I'm not going to lie. If I reach those like 9 to 10 peaks, my head might explode on cast, but it is what it is. You got to make sacrifices, right? We soldier on. I'm just noticing now, Blue Side OP, follow me, Regdor Cats in the background. That's actually legendary. Dude, I didn't even see that before. That is so legendary.
It's all subliminal messaging. I was a big red side enthusiast for a while, but I decided to go with the crew. Blue side is OP. We're going to have to find out if that means anything in the matchup, though.
Honestly, it feels like every matchup that we've been kind of looking at, it's always been blue side, 100% win rate, 90% win rate. We'll have to see if that carries over because today, Rector, obviously it is the semifinals, so that does mean that we have some of the best teams here that are going to be going head-to-head. So tonight, we have RMC Esports going up against King's College, two of the best teams in their seeds-wise. Obviously, King's College being the #1 seed. In fact, RMC, a little bit of ground still to cover, a little bit catch-up work to do, 5th seed at the moment, but they're here, so that means that they've got what it takes.
Yeah, and it may not show it on the graphic at the moment, but both of these are coming off of a 2-1 victory in the quarterfinals. So even the #1 seed dropping a game to Waynesburg along the way, and RMC, of course, with that one loss to Clark Chromatic. And that means something, right? Especially when we start talking about #1 seed versus #5. I think we also had a #2 seed versus a 7 seed that we've talked about in the past where, like, they're taking games off of them in this preseason meta that's so volatile that it could be anybody's game tonight.
Yeah, definitely so. And I mean, it's no slouch achievement as well, because when you look at just the history of these two teams, I'm looking at King's College right now. I think out of the 8 matches that they've played, right, obviously they only lost 1 match completely, and in almost all of their other matches, I'm only seeing 2 games where they even dropped a single round. So this is clearly a team where it's hard to take rounds off of them, and the same can be said for RMC Esports, right, going 5-3 at the moment. Obviously a couple of stumbles here and there, but they've picked themselves up amazingly every single time and have so many 2-0s under their belt.
Yeah, and especially for the side of RMC, those losses were all early on the seasons, weeks 1 through 3. And then after that, we have 2-0, 2-0, 2-1, 2-0. So it definitely looks like they're scaling into this series and not faltering as much here in the late stages.
Definitely so, as we get to see the lineup of King's College. Who's looking to go on the Rift? It's going to be Dad Shot 19. Yes, the goated names are back, Regdo. I've been waiting too long for the goated names segment. It's back. Dad Shot 19 in the top lane, Faintest Globe in the jungle, Volt Abyss in the mid lane, Christian in the bot lane, and Souls as the support.
And those are some phenomenal names. We're going to have to see if RMC can, like, even compete with
Can they top this at all?
Dad Shot, yeah, Dad Shot number 19. Like, that's phenomenal. To think that 18 other people chose that name as well kind of blows my mind.
Definitely. So here, if we can get their lineup as well. Oh, there we go. Here, Regdor, let me know. Are there any goated names?
Yeah, already. I mean, Straight Gangsta is #1 up here in the top lane. You got James Blade out in the jungle, Snow Tiger in the mid lane, and a really interesting name for an ADC, Deathless 3, and Are You a Fed down there making up the bot lane for RMC Esports. And let me say, like, that is, Straight Gangster, probably the best one on here, but Deathless as an ADC, that's a pretty phenomenal name. But not a statement there before we even get on the rift.
I was gonna say, like, they're already setting themselves up either for success or to just be completely humiliated by me, because I'm just gonna absolutely dig on them if they don't manage to go play Deathless. Because if you're gonna give yourself that name, that's like you said, it's a statement. I gotta say, I love the "Are You a Fed" from the support. That's a go-to name for me right there. I gotta say, I think RMC took the cake with the names. I won't lie.
Yeah, name game, it's one thing, but it's the question of whether or not you can match it here on the Rift, as we do finally get to see what is in their brains. What do they think of the preseason? And the first thing they say is no more LeBlanc. Not gonna have that assassin on the Rift.
Yep, looking to get that one out of there. Of course, the names on the brackets at the bottom are a little bit mixed up at the moment, but I'm sure we'll get that fixed up in just a moment. King's College is going to be on the blue side, Rector. I'm gonna throw it to you in a second. And RMC is over on the red side. Are you already a little bit worried for RMC? Blue side superiority coming through here and all?
It's game number 1, so it'd be really interesting just to see where their mindsets are at. We already see like a smattering of bans coming across here. No real correlation other than, hey, they play these champions. Samira is one that has moved her way up in the preseason, with a lot more scaling picks coming through. Having somebody who can dominate lane and snowball the game out of control is especially great, and you kind of see that reflected in a lot of these lane dominant, lane bully picks being taken out.
So speaking of dominant lane bully picks coming through, I'm seeing that Mordecai's again locked in, and the Darius as well, man. This is the matchup I'm looking for. I mean, I'm ready to see blood in this top lane, no pun intended, with the Darius being locked in, but this is what I want to see. Early aggression coming through, and the Trundle lock in, that's even more of that early aggression.
Yeah, those are indeed, we've talked about like how, is it a tank meta? Is it not a tank meta? Are we late game scaling? What's kind of happening here? And I think the answer's somewhere in the middle, but this is what I always love to see, and that is the jungle Trundle with the Silas mid. A champion that can get push, that can link up with this jungler and have a lot of those PvP skirmishes that really enables him to get ahead of the ball game and really scale in, because those jungle treats and getting that final smite is so important. So that's a really good start up there in that jungle 2v2.
So here, the Syndra being one of those premier picks we've been seeing coming through so much now, with that scaling potential coming through. The splinters, we'll talk about that obviously more in the game itself, but it's such a huge component now towards her kit. I believe the execution percentage being at like 15% low health once you get the ultimate actually upgraded. I might be wrong with that number.
Look at that big brain.
That's
Look
right.
At that big
That's
brain.
right,
You're
baby.
killing it, Echo. Like, oh my gosh. But we do see, like, on the bot side, and that is the Blitzcrank and Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa, near and dear to my heart, and a champion that's also moved up very high in the rankings. And that's because basically right now, if you can use Blade of the Ruined King, you're pretty OP with people liking to go towards Steelheart, liking to go towards Shock Show and build these resistances. Being able to do current percent health damage to them is phenomenal, and it also fits right into our build path that we've talked about so many times in the past. Once you get a hold of that item, you have your evolved Decathlon Rain, your evolved Supercharge, the Q&E, and you're a really big team fight threat. And alongside the Blitzcrank, that is, just what Kai'Sa loves. Engage, instant, burst damage, to be able to try to take advantage of this Varus early on in the lane.
So not going to be easy, though, obviously, with Are You a Fed on the Nautilus as well. The double hook lane coming through kind of becomes the question: who's throwing the first hook out, who's throwing the hook out in response. And I'm looking at it, I don't even know who's going to come out on top of this matchup. Now, I will say Deathless as that TP here at the moment. I'm assuming that that's going to be swapped over at some point. I'd be surprised if it is locked in form.
So, there's a number of people that would say, like, TP is smart to take in lanes like this, especially with somebody like Varus, who really wants to get some early recalls in and get some things going on. If he's able to cheat a recall and get towards that Noon Quiver, if he does, like, a longsword start, or if he just goes back and picks up an early Dirk, that equals so much power for him in combination with that W passive, getting those stacks, those blight stacks up, and then popping them, make some favorable trades in lane, which means that you have these dueling styles. But the biggest thing is that Varus has a range advantage. Naturally is going to be able to poke. It's kind of like you can't box with a god here. Varus has got the reach advantage and is able to reach out and touch Kai'Sa without exposing themselves to the Blitzcrank.
Yeah, definitely so in comparison, obviously, that of Cathian Rain, where it really have to be close up to him, get that isolated Q coming through. Don't want to be spread out to those minions, and the Void Seeker, a bit harder to use that as a poke. Obviously, you got the piercing out from Varus that can go through the minions, while the Void Seeker, unfortunately, just cannot.
Yeah, no, you've named it perfectly. It's like you've listened to me talk about Kaisa so much now that like you are also an honorary Kaisa salesman here.
Let's go.
But down to the bottom side of the map is pretty volatile, and I think that's the name of the game as we work our way up and through, is that we're continuing to see these differences and really just what is volatile lanes that want to have kill pressure against one another. And based off of that alone, it means that if you're the junglers, you really have to find the right mixture of time between farming and ganking, and especially for Lilia and Trundle. They are champions that are born and bred off of full clear, get my items, just outpace the enemy jungler, and then once I hit level 6, go subjugate or use that lilting lullaby and set up for these team fights around objectives.
Yeah, definitely zone it, because I feel like, honestly, looking at the drafts themselves, I wouldn't even know which way I want to path. I'm looking at every single lane. There's an opportunity to get going, because in every single lane, there's a fight just waiting to be happen. I feel like mid lane is probably, out of all three, the most chill lane per se, I would say. But even there, I feel like it's gonna be a bit of a bash up.
Yeah, we've seen the Syndra Sylas kind of played out a number of times, in the sense that early on, Syndra gets to take advantage of being the ranged into melee and really start to push in Sylas early on, and he'll trade his HP in order to get priority over that wave to make moves when he needs to. But it's right around that time that he has like a Lost Chapter and Kindle Gem, if he's going the Everfrost route, that he's able to start just nullifying the damage of Syndra early on, and is able to take over the lane. And then as the game progresses and you get towards those 80 splinters, 100 splinters, it really starts to go back over to Syndra's favor. So it is a big teeter-totter effect, but I'm more interested in the Darius. Darius is a champion that is not great from behind. It isn't somebody you look at and like, oh, they're down 2k gold, it'll be okay. No, it's not okay. You're irrelevant at that point. So there's a big emphasis here in the early laning phase to give Darius some sort of advantage, whether that be blowing the flash on the Mordekaiser early, getting him an early kill and an advantage in this lane state, in order for him to just be able to eventually 2v1 Trundle and Mordekaiser if they ever venture up towards his domain.
Yeah, and I feel like that's super important as well, because when you look at that Mordekaiser, obviously you're on that kind of, ticking time bomb, in a sense where once he hits that level 6, it's pretty much always going to guaranteed be a 1-on-1 if you look to gank him. Pulls you in the death realm, and you have to, at least, if you're going to die, at least get him nice and low so that your jungler can clean up. But regardless, going to have to really just wait and see.
No, absolutely. And the interesting thing will be is what the changes in itemization are. Like we talked a little bit before, talked to some friends. These treats, these jungle items now, these pets, choose your starter. That's going to be incredibly important. I think both of these champions now more so than before opt into the Moss Stomper, the green.
Yeah.
Once you finish it, having that shield, that extra tenacity that's actually getting adjusted next patch. But as of now, is a huge difference that you're just getting 20% tenacity for free. You talked about having 2 hook style champions, a bit of CC in the mix here, and if they're able to mitigate that because both of them want to go in, they really want to get into the mix of things. That's a huge, boon for them, especially with Mordekaiser in the jungle, or sorry, on the top lane, generally going the full AP route. Trundle's got to make up a bit of that front line in the process.
Sorry. Yep, that free shield, but there's only one way to find out, Rector, what they're looking to build. Let's get on to the Rift itself. Yes, this is what I like to see. Full Death Ball comp coming through here. They're waiting for the invade to come through, though, from King's College. Both of these teams have the same idea. Now, it's only a matter of time before skulls get broken, before blood is shed. I'm waiting. Already pushing up. Hook does land. A lot of damage coming through. I'm seeing low HP bars here from the blue side. Will it be enough is a question. No, it won't. Oh my god, the fight is so sporadic. But first blood gonna go into the hands of Christian. They grab themselves that. Maybe gonna look to find more here. Find himself the obliterate on straight gangsta. He's straight dead. He goes into the dirt. Dad shot might pay the price here for those 2 kills, but the rest of the team is there to back him up. Souls here has the hook available, finds it, it's gonna land, obliterate lands as well. The damage comes through, and Deathless does not live up to his name, doesn't even want to waste the flash. Down he goes, and already King's College has 3 kills to their name.
And 3 kills on almost every champion you would want it on. We talked about having that priority lane up there for the side of RMC with straight gangster on this Darius. Well, now you're automatically at a 350 gold deficit walking into the lane. Same thing said for all of your laners. They're all now at a deficit walking into this, and your team wasted, a few pieces on the way, and a lot of that was on Fates' Globe, being the one to take the shot, take a lot of that burst damage early on, and then just being able to walk away. Them not getting that kill kind of sealed their fate here as now we get into the laning phase.
Yeah, the crazy thing is, well, that all 3 kills obviously being spread out evenly across the team. Right, run for Christian, one for Volt, one for Dadshot. Gonna make it so oppressive, and not just one lane, but all 3 lanes. But RMC says, no matter, bot lane. Nice strafe coming through, a bit of damage. The flash has been popped now, though, by Deathless, so that's not going to be available for a while.
Yeah, as well as getting down that early cleanse off of Christian. Does have that kill under their belt, but due to the timing, didn't get to reset. So effectively still starting here at level 1, square 1 in the matchup. As we saw from that dredge line being cleansed, but then having the auto attack to go through on it afterwards enables that trade.
So here, both of this, even with that 1 kill under his belt, didn't have the time. Recalling by more, struggling a little bit, and that's, I feel like, exactly what we talked about, right? These early levels 1 to 3, really you can see the range advantage shining through here, and now looking to punish that, though. They're finding the damage onto Snow Tiger, but the flash over the wall is going to keep him safe.
And that is really good timing there from Fates' Globe. Has the top side down. Looks like Wolves are still there at the moment. But is able to make that rotation through just as a circumstance and then move down to their bottom side. And like we talked about, these treats, so important. Getting to 20 is the first big mark. That is a smite advantage if you're able to generate that through takedowns or just farming more effectively.
There's bit of trading coming through here in this top lane as well. Straight Gangsta deploying the bleed damage here mid lane, though. Voltabis incredibly low, going for the re-engage, though. Finds the hook, finds the damage, flashes away, and leaves Fates' Globe to clean up. Down goes Snow Tiger.
A little bit of an overreach there. They knew that the enemy jungler was in the area. Straight Gangsta's
the
going to take a power shot.
Oh, the obliterate doesn't quite find it. Pops the shield, though. The heal to stay alive, so the bleed doesn't take him out. This is what I was talking about, Regdor. Blood is being spilled in this top lane. It's only a matter of time before one of these top laners fall.
This was not going to be a quiet lane. We've known it since the start. The Fates' Globe is here again.
Yep, top lane, bot lane won't be quiet either. Flash hook forward as well. Are you a Fed? The question is, are you dead? And the answer is yes, indeed. Fates' Globe gonna pick up yet another kill.
And this is just very basic, standard level of play coming out from King's College, and that is the fact that we know where our jungler is. He is on the bottom side of the map. He can prioritize mid and bot lane, and at that time, RMC had both lanes pushing. Both of them were in the danger zone to be seen by this Trundle, and because they didn't respect it, they didn't have, they had some wards out, but they just didn't have the ability to actually get away from that flash hook from Souls as well as the pillar knockup. It's just letting them just feast now here. Meanwhile, on the opposite side, James Blade playing PvE, herbivore jungling is creating a little bit of a CS advantage here.
It's so unfortunate as well, because when you look at the map, you can see the amount of vision that was set up by RMC right in that river. They were expecting that rotate to come through there. But Fates' Globe, it's like, nah, I'll just walk through my own jungle. It's not a biggie. It's not a biggie. Just a couple more steps to take there for the steps tracker. Comes in, gets a kill very nicely. Now is set up, lying in wait in this mid lane. But James Blade has the same idea here now. Snow Tiger getting a bit of damage through, and now they're looking to chase him down, but Fates' Globe is here once again. Obviously, level advantage here for James Blade, but will they have the damage is the question. The answer is no. Fates' Globe will, though, however, picks up his 3rd kill of the match. Straight Gangsta on his way over, though, now as well. A 2-on-2 once again, and the HP bars over on King's College are pretty low. Voltabis can't dash away from the pull, gets grabbed, bit of damage coming through. Without that old Straight Gangsta, can't quite find the kill he was looking for. Hook finds its way. Souls is absolutely cracked, and he finds yet another kill here. They might look for Straight Gangsta as well. They're chunking him lower and lower. Kingslayer heal gonna keep him alive. Flash forward, chomp down. Fates' Globe gets his 4th kill of the match. All hail Souls. 100% hook rate. This man does not miss.
This man's name must be after, you know, the Souls games, because right now he's looking like a final boss with these rotations. Oh my goodness. And so much credit to Volt using, you know, the Ipsund Duct so well and knowing his damage. Not only that, his resistances to be able to make those engages and not give up a kill along the way. That's creating such an advantage. They drew it out long enough that Souls is able to rotate and turn this, you know, even more in their favor. Now 8-0 at 6 minutes in. That's more than a kill a minute, and that's the League of Legends I love to see.
Absolutely. Just blood everywhere all the time. And now most of it has been stacked onto Faintest Globe. 4-0-1 at the moment. Hell, we saw that obviously he didn't even have the level advantage. James Blade was one level above, and Faintest Globe said, I do not care. I've got the damage coming through, makes it happen. Now we're gonna get some vision here in this river. Curious to see if they look to start up this dragon here with that wave being pushed, and the answer should be yes, but maybe they look for a little bit of an invade into the jungle.
Yeah, you know, whatever you think it should be, let's do like option 2, and that'll mess with them a little bit more here. Is once again, it's Snow Tiger pushing.
Sonic Duck does land here, does get pulled in though. Wasn't expecting Straight Gangsta to be there. He's level 6, looking for the ulti though. Doesn't even need it. The burn to take him out. James Blade gonna find Volt Abyss. Resulting Lullaby doesn't gonna find too much more though. However, but Faintest Globe is here. Isn't quite level 6 yet though. Doesn't have that subjugate available. Souls would need to find some kind of hook, but for now, we're gonna let them back up.
That was that rotation there by the bot lane is going to pull up the side of RMC as Snow Tigers is going to get hooked.
Oh my god, this guy does not miss. I keep telling you, man. Nice stun coming through here though onto Christian. Gonna make sure he can't seal the deal onto Snow Tiger. And it's just ARAM in the mid lane at this point. We're 8 minutes in and we're ARAMing already, Rektor.
Yeah, this is something. Nobody's willing to back down here. Snow Tiger's trying to help push this wave, but needs to get out of dodge. That Killer Instinct was already used, so no long distance engage to be had from the side of Kings. As they look to reset, that was a lot for a little. We do get a kill over to the side of RMC. They got their first blood and on the jungler nonetheless here, but no like further pushing of the game state forward. The answer is now we go back to our jungles. We continue to try to farm. Really have to get to that Leandries for the side of James Blade and really look to get that second smite, which should come online. Yep, just now.
Definitely something to note though. Obviously, you know, James Blade being able to farm a lot more since Faintest Globe has been incredibly focused on grabbing those kills. You look at the numbers on their jungle items, right? James Blade already has that upgraded smite now in comparison to Faintest Globe, which means he could outsmite Faintest Globe until he finds those 5 extra treats to feed little pet.
And that's what we love to see, and that's like the cerebral mind game to me now, is that you do get some sort of boon from just being very efficient with your pathing and the way that you're farming in this game to get to that smite differential. It's the best feeling in the world to say like, hey, congratulations, you don't get to play this objective.
Exactly. So here is Snow Tiger, and be careful. Volt Abyss is trying to say you don't get to play in this mid lane either. But the damage comes through, but Soul is here once again. Hook finds the mark. I don't even need to speculate anymore. Finds the kill as well.
And I think it wasn't like an animation lock or anything, but I do believe we saw Snow Tiger kick over to that first 40 splinters, which gives access to that second Dark Sphere. Really allows them to actually lane bully what we're used to kind of with older Syndra. As Straight Gangster's going to continue to fight here in the lane, having small CS differential. But Soul, he may not want to be here anymore.
Yep. And Lullaby does get dropped. They found Soul and they're looking for some retribution. Soul's running but gets smited and put down. A shutdown going to the hands of James Blade once again. RMC looking to find whatever they can, whenever they can on the map.
This is exactly how you start fighting back as we start to see him come online. The Power Unleashed there used, but not going to find a kill as they're trying to establish some sort of power over here underneath the bottom side of the map, maybe working towards this Drake. This is looking to be lethality. Varus coming through, something that's not usually as popular due to the kind of damage reduction that was given over time, especially with Faintest Globe and Dadshot being on these cruisers, being on these tanks. It's going to be a lot to chew through, so a lot of that's going to come down to really James Blade looking like the only tank buster with that Leandries as this game moves forward.
So it's going to be rough, and the fact that Faintest Globe already with 4 kills under his belt took him so much farther forward, but time will tell us the moment. First drag is going to get picked up by RMC. I was a little surprised that King's College didn't look to pick up that drag earlier when they had the push in the bot lane. Instead opted to keep on fighting. So RMC, they're looking for the little wins here. They're looking to snowball it.
Definitely able to trade up there. They will get that Rift Herald. We watch a nice little 1v1 here now in the Shadow round.
Speaking of trade in here, needs to chew that shield first. Is in the Death Realm. Bit of heal coming through with the Obliterate as well. Can he find the slam dunk? Doesn't need it. Just gives him a quick swipe across the throat. Takes him out. Bad shot, not quite. gonna find the damage and goes down to straight gangster. No, we've witnessed it. This is the fall of King's College. The first hook has missed, Rektor. It's all over, GG.
Yeah, but they got a flash out of it nonetheless, which is, it's still a boon as we're gonna drop down this Rift Herald down here in the bottom lane, get some more gold in Crispin's pocket, who just took a step too far forward.
Yep, indeed, got punished accordingly. Didn't quite go down. Rift Herald is gonna crash in. Oh, that one little plate. So close, yet so far. But regardless, Christian will stay alive. Had to burn the cleanse, though, so that will not be available as James Blade is in this mid lane. Some kind of pressure. Gonna find a little bit of it, but that's...
And it feels so bad because they almost have the perfect setup with the dredge line into the Chains of Corruption, but just a little too fast on the trigger that allows Christian to just cleanse both of them simultaneously and walk away there. But overall, like a really great heads up to say we're going to be aggressive in the face of aggression and try to make something out of this. It'll be nice to see. It is a pickaxe there in the inventory of Christian going towards that Kraken Slayer. It would be great. You can actually double pickaxe at this level, and it puts you on your Q evolution. And since you already need a pickaxe to go into the Kraken Slayer as well as a Blade of the Rune King, it's like an early lane dominance thing. You may not be electing towards, but
through here. Speaking of lane dominance, though, Faintest Globe says bot is mine. Finding the damage here. Free firing, though. Deathless about to be dead once again. Down he goes. Double kill in this bot lane. Both of these kills once again going into the hands of Faintest Globe. Has the same sort of story. It's about to be in this top lane here. No Death Realm available, I don't believe. And so for that shot does need to back off. A lot of damage coming through from Straight Gang.
Yeah, Straight Gangster, after getting that solo kill, is in a great spot, seeing that he's almost on the Triforce here soon, one of the funniest items, cost-wise at this point. Will be in his pocket here soon, and that's going to make this even harder. That is the strong point of RMC right now, is that Straight Gangster has gotten through the hardest parts unchecked, and now we get to do things like this.
God, absolutely obliterated. Nothing that shot could do. They knew he was going to go down, and so will these plates into the hands of Straight Gangsta and James Blade. RMC making a good recovery right now. Still a lot of ground to cover, but you look at the gold differential, for example, and they've been doing a pretty decent job of keeping it somewhat even. Only about 2k gold down at the moment, in comparison to the fact that it is 11-4.
Yeah, and you have to think about that in the context of the champions as well. Varus is not going to hurt until way later on in the game. Has the almost Ghost Blade done, but that is it. He's going to stop that back. Call there. You've got the Leandries now on James Blade as well as Snow Tiger. Both these champions known for getting to that 3 to 4 item mark and really taking over. So to be 2k down after all that being said and done and having this scaling on your side, that's feels pretty good if you're the side of RMC. You've got something to play for and you recognize, hey, my strong point is coming.
So, speaking of strong points as well, looking at James Blade, his Moss Stomper, only one treat away from being fully upgraded, will have that fully unleashed 1.2k damage smite coming through in comparison to Faintest Globe, who will still only have the 900 damage smite, the smite differential. I'm still waiting to really see it come into action here, as we haven't really seen any team fights around the objectives themselves here, as RMC kind of know they can't afford to take them head on just yet. Need to find those little victories on the side lanes here. As now, though, Soul's on his way. Can he find the hook? The answer is no. A nice sidestep from Snow Tiger.
Snow Tiger's starting to figure out the timing here. It's the fun thing with tanks is that you eventually...
Oh, he didn't expect this one, though, Regdor. Not going to find the Abscond abducted. Actually, going to get out of that one alive. Never mind, I guess.
Yeah, really great presence of mind there to wait to use that flash at the perfect timing to be able to get out here. And now that sets up where the rest of the team can rotate and fight for some supremacy around this mid lane with the Dragon coming up here just now as we speak. And this is the second Drake if RMC are able to pick it up. This is giving them more time in the game, just denying this soul away from the side of King's College.
So here, I've started it up. King's College know what's going down here, so they're going to look find something here. They were able to section off Deathless here, so he's alone at the moment. Find the dredge line, find the drowsiness as well. A lot of damage coming through as well with the Chains of Corruption. They just barely not going to go down. They pull Snow Tiger in, though. When the hook counts, he finds his souls once again, pulls him in. They find the pick, but with a lot of low HP bars, they have to be careful here. Looking for RU Fed, they're finding the damage, and there's that Acathian rain coming through. Absolutely raining damage onto him. They find find a flash over the wall as well. Voltimus looking for James Blade. The Ignite is ticking, it's ticking, and it finds the target. Voltimus gonna pick yet another kill, and just like that King's College, says all those victories you got earlier, they don't matter.
King's College doing an amazing job of just staying as a unit and moving forward, even though the little team Lullaby comes down, even though the dredge line hits. They're all on top of Faintest Globe with that Divine Sunder and that just natural health that he's been stacking up. It just makes it too hard to chew through that target up front, and they're able to just push away RMC away from this objective and show that, like, in the front to back at the moment, they are unmatched around these objectives.
Got to see the damage coming through as well here. Turret gonna go down. Christian has that crack there, has that secondary pickaxe, like you mentioned, looking to build it into that fork. And he's only gonna do even more damage. We saw how much damage that Acathian Rain did when it was singled out onto RUFed. That already looked like it hurt quite a bit.
Yeah, and it's only gonna get worse from here. That's the beauty of it, especially in this on-hit style build. Most people don't think of Kai'Sa as a late game scaler, but her beauty is around that 3-item mark once you get done with the Blade of the Rune King. Even though it looks like there's a serrated Dirk there now. Don't know where this is going.
Oh, okay.
But
okay.
Generally, after you get the Blade of the Rune King done, then you're going into the Wit's End or the Rage Blade, and you're just stacking this on-hit damage that plays so especially well into this high health state game that we're in. But like I said, they might be taking a diversion from there as the Chains of Corruption do go wide.
We're gonna find the mark, but it's gonna go ahead and hijack it and say, I'll show you how to use it later on. Oh, the hook lands, dude. Look at that. Souls, dude. Get out of here. Get this man out of here. Get him to LCS. He doesn't belong here anymore, bro.
Doesn't belong here anymore. Hey, there is a soul in the LCS, but not a souls. He's gonna try to salvage this play.
Yep, indeed. They're going to look to find something. Or Souls might just have to sacrifice himself. Dredge line going to land. Do they have the damage is the question, and the answer is no, they do not. Yes, they do. James Blade says, you're not going anywhere. Upscan Abducto comes through. They find the pick onto RUFed. They find Straight Gangsta as well. And now King's College is looking to take everyone off the map. A double kill for Christian. And James Blade and Deathless are the only two who will live to tell the tale.
This is quite the time. It feels like the side of RMC is starting to feel like they have to make something happen with King's College being so proactive here. But at the moment, you look where their strength is at. If you're an RMC fan, it is all in James Blade. Only one who has a positive KD is doing well, continuing to stay up in farm, but that is a 7-0 Trundle, so the gold isn't same here. Although it may try to look like it here if you're just looking at the creep score. And the question becomes is like, oh, what's my way back into the game? How do I play this out? In a little bit, you have to give pressure. You have to give up something to get something here. And it looks as though their plan is to just go ahead and put this Varus up in the mid lane and try to just clear waves while the rest of their team tries to get online. But it's going to take time.
Definitely so. The question is it time that RMC have? King's College is showing us over and over again. They will take any opportunity given, and more importantly, they're able to turn any opportunity around here as they are looking at Straight Gangsta, but they're gonna opt to go for it. Don't have vision on the bot lane here of RMC, so they want to find it. Careful in this bot lane, though. Faintest Globe said, screw that. I want kills. I want them now here. Lullaby is going to land. Flash forward, gets pushed back, though, so Faintest Globe won't find the damage on the Snow Tiger just yet. Not going to look to run them down. The burn from Leandre is just a bit too much from the handle. Dash shot flashing forward, but it's not quick enough. Down he goes. Another tide has been turned. The shutdown goes on over, and that's going to be 2 kills into the hands of Snow Tiger.
Yeah, and so our Leandre's users, once again, it looked like there was a cheeky Hex Flash there in the mid lane to try to pick something up, but Soul's not able to find anything. But both these Leandre's users hitting multiple spells, getting that burn over time, and being a little bit quick on the draw allows Snow Tiger to pick up some much-needed gold, working on that Shadow Flame here as Straight Gangsters once again fighting in the top lane.
Coming through, Scan of Duck gonna land though. However, Ignite goes down as well. Ulti is available for Straight Gangsta. Oh, the hijacked one! You can flash all you want, it doesn't matter.
You know, that's up there with like the top 10 anime betrayals is flashing after an auto attack animation has gone through, or in that case, that execution there off the hijacked ultimate of the Darius. Getting killed by your own ultimate also is a feels bad moment up there in the top 10. But this is the strength that's coming out of Volt Abyss. This is what happens outside the laning phase now, working on that second item. Ooh.
He does. Nice little champ interaction going through there. Gonna make sure RUFed does not go down. Oh, look at that damage coming through from Deathless already there onto Souls. That was quite a large portion of health being chunked there. I need to get your thoughts on something, Rector. I'm looking at Christian right now. I'm seeing the Collector has been built second item out. Thoughts on that? How you feel?
I'm upset. I feel betrayed, maybe. Like, I get it, you're ahead, and that's where a lot of people go like, oh, Collector's a really good item. But Blade of the Rune King's still better because you're getting the double evolve off of the single item with those tier 2 boots, and you're doing something against this health stacker. Look at James Blade's health bar, has Leandries, has the Demonic Embrace, is got Moss Stomper as well. All these things equal, I need to be able to shred through this front line. And presently, with a Zeal in tow, that doesn't equal more damage.
Oh my god, dude. Souls is a menace. Bulls RUFed over the wall, says, yes, indeed I am, and I have the chat logs, and puts him in the dirt. Now that's a free drag for King's College. Gonna go ahead, secure that one. Things are just looking up for King's College right now.
Yeah, no, King's College is playing around Vision wonderfully, and like you said, when Souls has like a 97% completion rate here on these hooks, it's very hard to play against, because once you pull into the enemy team, unless maybe you're James Blade, you're just gonna go poof here in the matchup. Once again, we take up side lanes, but now Snow Tiger may not be in the same state they were before.
They're gonna go and poof here. Snow Tiger looking to run around him, is in that death realm, though just barely manages to survive that when the minions almost take them out, but not quite. That's a feel bad moment right there. That shot is in tears right now, surely.
That's a feels good movement though, if you're an RMC fan. Here is once again, like, it is Syndra in the side lane. It is Snow Tiger who is looking like a glimpse of hope. I've been saying it, James Blade and Snow Tiger are the two right now that have the ability to make things happen, are able to be proactive, winning out in 1v1s on side lane. It's just unfortunate that it's Syndra, because Syndra can't really effectively side lane. Can't go farther than that side of the river without a chance
forward. Chains of Corruption goes through, though, both sides here with the hijack as well. Damage comes through. Volt Abyss gonna find one. Goes gold, but now he's in a 1v3. Can he mix up to nap and flash forward? Able to dodge a lot. Use the minion with the hook to get himself further away, but oh no, the death charges find him. The Dreadside doesn't find him. Volt Abyss is staying alive. This man is buying so much time, and Faintest Globe is on the move, and the backline here is gonna go down at the end of the day. So unfortunate. Faintest Globe not quite able to get there in time, but regardless, that's a showing. That was impressive.
That man looks like a Dance Dance Revolution pro, if you're asking me. He had some fancy feet and was buying so much time, but sadly nothing helped. Nothing happens on the other side of the map. Faintest Globe realized he might be a big boy, but he's not that big of a boy here, even on these two items, and really has to back off of the play. So once again, some signs of life from the side of RMC, but they're not able to chain it together into anything of real importance yet. We don't have any towers falling. Still that tier 1 up there on the top side. As we can see, minions just pushing into the tier 2s repetitively. That's going to give King's College exactly that. Control over the Baron, and then start looking to go ahead and pressure and force RMC into a fight.
So here, Baron still up and available. Drag is going to be up for another 2.5 minutes here. So for now, it's just going to be picked. I'm going to look to make something happen here. The question really is, does RMC have what it takes to get back into this thing? They're finding those little victories here and there, but they're going to amount to enough, right?
That's the question, right? I'll give you the answer after one of these nexuses explode. I've got to say, in this one lull, it's definitely messing me up. It's RMC Esports, because all I can think of is our great friend, a random ending caster. And I'm just like, he's got his own college? Why didn't he tell us?
But someone has also told them that this Baron is available and it's up for the taking. They're going to look to grab it here. King's College has started it up. And look at that, Souls. It's just applying so much pressure, zoning off perfectly. James Blade can't even get close, and so the Baron is going to go down into the hands of King's College. Are they going to look for more? It's a question. Nope. They're just going to take the W and leave. Not much more to do there.
Souls just gets out. Souls just lives. This is a Mikhail's Blessing and Shirelia's battle song, so like Blitzcrank. Not that tanky of a boy, but still almost single-handedly 1v4 zoning them off of the Baron, then just flashes the wall and says goodbye. And that is 5 members of Kings with the Baron buff as they're going to try to pressure this tier 2.
Lullaby. Oh, the cleanse come. No, Christian, come on. Don't hit him with the thumbs up, man. It's enough that you cleansed it already here. Looking for something on Christian here, but Glenn's going to make sure that the lullaby does not go through. He does not want to be sung it. He is not 2 years old here, so he's going to stay alive for now. But is the cleanse down, so there is an opportunity if they can find something.
Oh no, Deathless.
Oh, Deathless, dude, he's gone. He is just, dude, Souls, come on, man. Why are you doing him like this? Souls just hitting hooks left and right.
I've seen this somewhere before. He's got the dog in him, but Snow Tiger puts him down.
Damn. Put Christian in the dirt. He says, listen, buddy, you cannot cleanse all this damage.
Yeah, there's not a cleanse for the unleashed power. Let me tell you, that just means you go boom. I don't have the direct number, but you've got to guess that Snow Tiger has to be close to that 100 or on that 100 mark there with what looks like some execute damage coming through, which is a huge point. Has the Rebadon's death cap. Once they get to 120 and they're fully transcended, they basically get a free death cap after that again with that AP amp. So late game threat is coming online, but this is going to be the sole point for the side of King's College now here in the next 5 minutes.
Indeed it is. Go down, nothing really that RMC can do there. They need a little more time. Powered up a little bit more here. We've seen the amount of damage that comes through. They have a chance, but it is going to be hard to find anything. Souls is on the prowl 24/7. Those golden boy hooks are always available. Finally, for once, he doesn't find the hook there, but regardless, the amount of pressure that his presence applies is so daunting.
Absolutely. And one of the issues right now for me is that Deathless is on 2.5 items. But it is a Yomu's Ghostblade and the Man Immune, and now has a Last Whisper. No mythic item coming through yet, and realizing at this point they need to switch. They need something to get through the front line, but they're just not built that way. They're not ready to be able to take on this front-to-back style team fight that they need. They opted for Burst, but the Burst isn't going to do much at this point. So it's really, again, on these AP users. It's on Snow Tiger, and it's on James Blade to really find something and be the winning factors to a team fight.
So here, running out of time ever so slightly to do so, though. King's College is cracking down on them at every single opportunity. You can see Souls as well already on the move here with Christian, making their way over to this bot lane. Looking for something, looking for some kind of hook opportunity, get the catch out there, get a pick going, get things started up here. But for now, RMC is wary. They realize, you know, we cannot be alone in these parts of the woods here. Snow Tiger, gotta be careful with that shot here. Does get pulled in though. In the death realm, is he close enough to get to under the turret? I think he is indeed. So the turret is gonna apply him some safety. He'll be alive for now. Tries to pull him out, finds that. A lot of obliterate damage coming through. But James Blade and Deathless are here as well. They look to run it down. It's a question though. Rightly so, they don't, because Souls was waiting with the hook.
Yeah, Souls did miss the hook over the wall, I will say. Given that's only number 4 in the game, but hey, still, it's good to know that, you know, he is real. It's like the copy pasta where it's like, I'm not saying he's cheating, but I'm saying you should check his computer, because this man is on fire here on this Blitzcrank. And how much fear does that put in this best of 3? If he's this good on Blitzcrank, how good is he on other hook-style champions? And how much pressure does that draw in the draft where you're having to 2-ban a support? In this matchup with so many great picks out there for these solo lanes and for the ADC pool as well, that you're going to have to apply pressure onto Soul.
Trying to imagine him on a pick like a Mumu or something like that. That's going to be... I don't actually, you know what? I don't want to imagine that, because that just seems like a terrible time for all of RMC. But regardless, RMC are standing strong. They've been holding the line for now, looking for those picks, trying to find anything. Not feasting at the moment. Bit of a famine going on right now, but if anyone can come back from this, it is them. They are here in the semifinals for a reason, and for a match where you just want to kind of feel out the other team. They've been putting up a pretty decent fight, considering they are going up against the top #1 seed in their league.
And this is the beauty that they have Stonewall so successfully. We haven't talked about the gold lead in a minute, and that's because it hasn't grown that much. It's only at 3K from the last time we are now around 3.5. But we haven't talked about this since nearly the 10-15 minute mark, and it has only moved 1,000 gold, and that means a lot when you've taken 2 more Drakes and the Baron along the way, and they're still keeping them close enough in striking distance here.
Definitely so here. I mean, you look at the CS numbers as well. Been coming out here from RMC has been helping them somewhat in mitigating that gold differential that's been coming through. But right now, I'm looking at that dragon timer, man. 1 minute left until this next drag is up. King's College is on Soul Point. The Baron's up as well, and with this timing differential, they could look to get the Baron and the dragon as well. And I think that RMC knows that fact. The question is, do they have what it takes to step up, or do they just say, screw it, we give the Baron on over and we look for the first move on the dragon?
I think they have to stand and deliver at some point here, because then they can make him choose that shot.
Look at that, James Blade flashes in, tries to find the Baron, but pays the price for not stealing. It's gonna be death. 2 more members down. Straight Gangsta's next on the list here. Finds 1 pick at the very least, but that's all. He's gonna get a triple kill for Christian, and now they're gonna look to run down the rest of RMC, but Snow Tiger able to push them back all the week, but he's looking like he's gonna go down himself. Takes 1 with him. Deathless finds 1 as well, so only 2 members are gonna keep the Baron on them, but 4 members from RMC will fall, and that means it's a free soul for King's College.
And that's 4 for 3 on the play. Again, keeping them in earshot, but once they have this Chemtech Drake, that's just even harder now, right? With the Soul, you're doing more damage, but additionally gaining more resistances as you get lower. This is the new and improved. The make the the rift look like a smoke field here, and no killing the enemy 3 times in order to actually have them die. But still incredibly useful when you have all these fighters, all these guys who want to get in there and get down and dirty in Dadshot, in Faintest Globe, in Volt Abyss, that now have access to even more power to stay in these fights. That makes it even harder when, again, most of RMC is built for burst damage.
So here, hey, at the very least, though, the Rune King does get picked up for Christian here a bit later down the line than we expected, but finally been picked up with, and surely will be next year, as King's College is going to be looking to close this thing out within the next team fight, I would imagine. Another 5 minutes until that Elder Drag is up, so it's going to be quite some time here. RMC is running out of time. They're running out of plays to make. They need to make something happen sooner or later.
Oh, but it will be time to stand and deliver here soon, as they're trying to get these waves pushed in. It's once again Volt Abyss in the side lane. We've seen what happens when he 1v3s. He does a pretty great job at creating pressure, but he does have Faintest Globe down there. And they're really trying to get them to look at what the bot lane is doing, so then they can pressure the mid lane, as we do see Dadshot as well, kind of making his way, hopefully up towards the top lane, to set up this 1-3-1 and start closing in like a boa constrictor on the side of RMC.
So Aaron is working out well. A lot of damage from Snow Tiger here. Unleashed power, not quite finding the mark there. They are going to go 1 for 1, but honestly, I think King's College is worth. We trade support for your mid laner, considering it's one of your most fed members on your team as well. A worthy sacrifice from Souls here.
Yes, a worthy sacrifice indeed, and that's now the bot lane tier 2 taken out. Still waiting. We're going to get somebody up in the top lane eventually with this Baron buff to start pressuring these tier 3s, start cracking open the base of RMC in this first game. They've kept them held for so long, but now the cracks are starting to show. The gold differential is starting to come in.
Yeah, it's crazy to think as well. This is only game number 1 out of the best. This is normally when you just kind of, just feel out the opponents a little bit, see what they're like. Both of these teams are like, no, we are sending it. This is the semifinals. We need to make things happen, and we are taking it for the long run. 35 minutes already in our first match. That just sets up a precedent for the next couple of times.
That should be certified bangers all around. Something I didn't notice until just now is that Dadshot opted into Jock Show which explains a bit of maybe why they were losing to the Syndra and side lane here, as they are missing that Omni Van.
The question is, will Volt Abyss lose in the side lane here against Stray Gang since no Tiger goes gold, flies forward, looking to find the damage. Can he get it though? It's not looking too likely. Gonna bring the hammer down. Kingslayer keeps him alive, but they put him in the dirt. You gotta think though, Regdor, so many members just to kill one member of King's College.
4 items strong on Volt Abyss now. If Dad Shot's gonna try to bring it back. There's the Lilting Lullaby.
Lullaby coming through here and absolutely demolishes Dad Shot there. You can build Jock show all you want, but Faintest Globe, it's in the fray. The hook finds the mark again, and it's just absolute disaster after that. Faintest Globe looking for something, bit of damage coming through. But that's the 2 fed members from RMC down here. And so it's up to the rest of the boys to hold the base. This tier 3 is going to go down as well. They're going to look for this inhibitor. 2 Faintest Globe saying, who's going to step to me? Who's going to do it? Because none of you can. They grab themselves that inhibitor, looking for the second inhibitor as well. They're going to take that, and RMC can do nothing but watch as it goes down. Tries for another hook. Not quite going to find it. Max range does come through.
Yeah, there is just a little bit left in the tank now if you're RMC, and you can see that a lot of their trouble is the fact that they cannot burst out Volt Abyss. They cannot burst out Dad Shot. They have to waste so many resources and time that gives King's College the ability to rotate in and make up the differential and win on the backside of these fights for getting 1 or 2 members up. They get 2 inhibitors down. They get to reset off of that gold lead. Now 10-2 on the Kai'Sa, 10-1 on the Trundle. And all they can do is really just wait, because now they cannot try to contest this Elder Drake in a minute 30. If RMC walk down for it, that just signals to the side of King's College to go finish off their base in the process.
Oh, here it's a tough choice to make, but they are going to have to make it in this next minute and a half. Unless, of course, somehow they all just die now to the side of King's College, which not expecting. They've been playing it relatively safe, looking for those opportunities, but Souls usually has different plans for everyone on the side of RMC. Always looking for those hooks. They are just waiting in the jungle of RMC at the moment. The whole map belongs to them. They're waiting in the bush looking for the hook. Not quite gonna find it though. James played a bit too fast for him. Finds a Lilting Lullaby though. They find the damage, find the Chains of Corruption, but that's all they're gonna find because Christian is here and he's there to do damage. A triple kill comes through for him. No, my God, over the wall as well. A quad, give him the penta. The first game of the semifinals, best of 3. And Christian says, let me show you how I do it.
He took the name Deathless personal here and just shows like this is why Kai'Sa's so incredibly strong. Even though they have that short attack range, is able to play this front to back so beautifully and get down all that damage, save the killer instinct to be able to finish off the rest on the backside. Will get executed to the turret. Oh no, that was Souls, sadly. But never mind. Kings take game number 1 in what was a strong display from both sides.
Absolutely. This was only game number 1, and this is how it's going. Regdor, we are in for one hell of a night, man. That was such an amazing performance coming through. I will say RMC, regardless, though, did put up an impressive fight. They took this game incredibly far, found a lot of opportunities, but, you know, like we mentioned at the sort of the middle point, we weren't sure if they were going to amount enough W's to ultimately get the victory, and it just felt like they didn't quite find enough for them, and they ended up taking the L.
Yeah, overall, I think it was really even gameplay, regardless of the kind of the score lines there. And a lot of that comes from the difference in, like we talked about, burst damage versus sustained damage over time. And for the most part, that's what King's College has, a little bit of both. In sustained damage, to be able to stay in there with the bruisers, with things like the Kingslayer, the Acathian Rain, that do burst you, but also create space to be able to elongate out the fight. So maybe some changes up in the AD department for RMC. Something a little bit more auto attack based that isn't just based off of do 3 auto attacks, get a Q off, get an E off, you know, those sorts of things, and kind of opt into a little bit more power there. Then they have a lot more strength in these team fights to be able to find some parity in the matchups.
Definitely so. Well, you heard it. Regdor's suggestions here. I got one question for you, Regdor, before we send it off to break, though. Do we see Blitzcrank in this next game? That's really all I want to know. Do we see Blitzcrank?
We'll see it. We'll see it there as like the first ban in the pick order. That's probably where we'll see it.
All right, well, you heard it here first. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to throw it to just a quick break as these teams get ready for this next match. It is a best of 3, so RMC Their backs might be up against the wall, but they got opportunities to bring this thing back. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, and we're back, ladies and gentlemen, after what was one hell of an explosive game number one. Regdo, I've been given some information, okay?
Okay.
RMC has chosen the blue side. Does this mean an automatic win for them? We talk about the blue side buff constantly, and we saw it here once again, right? He's got it on the wall. Surely they win this game. Surely they do.
Yeah, surely with the information that they've learned, that they'll make some smart decisions in draft, change up a little bit around the ADC position, and shore up what really was just a map mismatch, having champions that could side lane while the other ones couldn't, and eventually just not having the damage to get through the front line. Like, these are all like, okay, this happens. Game one, we shake it out. But now on match point, moving to the blue side, they have to make some smart decisions early on in the draft that sets them up for success, moving past that like 15-minute mark.
Definitely so here. Obviously, you got to remember the pressure is on for RMC. It is a best of 3, which means that their backs are against the wall. They're going to have to win 2 matches back to back if they want to stay in this thing, if they want a chance of moving on to the finals themselves. They put up a pretty good showing in game number 1, Rector, but I feel the question is, right, if I am an RMC enjoyer right now, what do I got to do, man? What's the secret sauce? Recdominus, I beseech thee, please tell me, what must I do?
I think one is pick strong bot lane, pick winning 2v2 matchup.
Okay.
Step 2, ward appropriately and understand jungle tracking, because a lot of the early game success of King's College was through their jungler, was through Faintest Globe, and it wasn't a surprise. He ganked mid, he walked to his bottom side, mid stayed pushed forward, he goes back and kills him, he goes and clears his camps. The bot side, who knows he's in the bottom side of the map, pushes forward, he goes down there and he kills him. That's pretty like Jungle 101, ganks of opportunity. And so respecting the enemy jungler and tracking his position and using that information, right? It's not enough just to know, but to act on that information to keep your laners non-volatile during that time is incredibly the important piece that RMC should take away from game number 1.
So here, yeah, we saw a lot. Faintest Globe has been, I want to call him a menace, but I say that too often, and I don't even feel that does him justice. My man was absolutely everywhere. Hell, we could see that in comparison to the Lilia, right, his jungle item, he was like a good, I want to say like 7 to 8 treats down, because my man just did not farm. If anything, all he did was just farm champs. The whole game, it felt like he was just farming champs on every single lane.
Yeah, and while like getting those takedowns gives you some treats, it's obviously more advantageous just to farm your jungle. But he has that beauty of being ahead in gold and the fact that his laners are mostly winning the matchups, which puts him in a position where it's okay if he's a little bit down, because there'll never be a smite fight if the enemy jungler's just dead along the way there. And we saw it so many times over where they were not able to get down the burst damage they needed because of that difference in gold. And because of that, it just allowed King's College to reign over the Rift. But here in game number 2, we're going to have to see what did RMC take away, and specifically take away from Souls, hopefully, here along the way, because that man was, as you say, a menace.
Absolutely. Well, if you guys have been taking notes like the good students you are, you know that bullet point number 1 on Rector's to-do list is get a strong bot lane. So we'll have to see if they can look to make that happen. The bans coming out right now. So far, looking fairly similar to game number 1. Obviously, Samira as well as the Victor being banned out here from RMC Esports. The Trundle, something new. Nice to see. They're saying, Faintest Globe, we don't want to see that on the Rift ever again. It was a bit too much for us.
Yeah, it was a bit of pain, and that is... I'm sorry, that's a Taric?
Ooh.
I'm trying to check my notes here. It might have been a little bit of a misclick there. We did have them run the out of game draft prior, so that was not in my notes of a champion that would have been picked, but it'll go ahead and start over here soon. But in that meantime, like we said, it is around the bottom lane. I feel like so much success. You could say Christian getting that pentakill was the keystone of their matchup, because they had played so intelligently early on and gotten ahead in items that allowed them to pick up things like the Collector, work into that Phantom Dancer, and really just have all the necessary tools in order to be successful when you have essentially meatballs in front of you in the form of Souls, Faintest Globe, and the top lane as well. That just really makes it easy on an ADC. ADCs with meatballs in front of them, you just auto attack, and if there's no real dive threat, what can happen? here along the way as they get back into the draft. So I'm really not sure. Like, Taric would be awesome because Taric's great against anti-dive. Taric's great into melee matchups, like so many great things. But I don't think we're going to get to see him here in game number 2.
I would be very surprised as well, but we'll have to wait and see as this draft gets started back up. I want to get your thoughts on the Varus pick from game number 1. Do you think we're going to see it coming back again here in game number 2? Because I feel like it wasn't the sauce, boss. It wasn't making it happen. You know?
No, I jokingly, and no offense to the player whatsoever, I've seen it plenty in solo queue as well, where somebody's like, oh man, I saw Gumayushi play it. It must be broken again. And it wasn't. It's just not. It's okay, but especially in what is a target-rich environment, as a health stacking environment that we're kind of in right now with League of Legends, it's very hard to run lethality Varus because he just doesn't have, like I said, that consistent DPS. It's really all around stack up blights, pop blights, pray that your Q does a ton of damage. And what they need is more consistency, right-click, auto-attack style champions. They're able to just slowly churn their way through the enemy team.
Those lethal tempos are stacked up, but that's not here nor there because we're back in the draft and already the first locket from Straight Gangsta. It's going to be the Darius once again, a pick that was still looking pretty good early to mid game, and then slowly just started losing control and it was all over. It's like you mentioned, right? A Darius that's a little bit down is already out of the fight.
Yeah, already out of the fight. And what's interesting here for the side of King's College is they did draft that Olaf on R3. So it was actually Gwen and soon to be the mid laner locked in here as the Silas that was picked up first, which had them pick the Darius, assuming that they were going to lane into Gwen, but instead it's the switcheroo, the menace of a man called Olaf up here in the top lane now.
So you're someone that can just run the game through. You give them that even the slightest opportunity, things are not looking good for you. Dad Shot saying, you know, I was playing the very supportive, dare I say, dad role in game number 1, right, with the Jack show on the Mordekaiser, just kind of tanking it up, just chilling. This time around, he wants to get his hands dirty as well. What better champ to do it than the Olaf? I'm curious about the Gwen jungle through, though. Something that I feel we haven't seen as much recently. So I'm really curious to see how Fantasy Globe is going to look to pilot.
Yeah, Gwen definitely fell out of flavor, but never became unusable in the jungle. But especially now with the jungle changes, it's going to take her a bit longer to get through these camps and get online. Has a slower clear. So if you have something like the Kayn, I would love to see early invades. I would love to see James really press the issue in this matchup, knowing that Fantasy Globe isn't the strongest early on, and really, you know, do the a la Peanut type moment and really just not be able to play the game and have to be non-interactive in order to find their way through. But now that we finished up, there's the Kai'Sa on the opposite side with the Nautilus. One of her most favorable matchups here with Nautilus beside her.
Yeah, and on the flip side, I'm looking at Christian, right? He's got the Caitlyn. More importantly, though, Rektor, we obviously see that eventually, finally, that Blitzcrank ban came up, but there were so many opportunities for it to be picked up. It kind of worries me because that tells me that Soul says, listen, dude, I don't care. I don't need Blitzcrank to shine. Let me pick this Leona real quick and show you how I get things done, even if I'm not a hook champion. This time around, he's coming to you. He's not pulling you to them. He's coming straight to you.
Yeah, which could be good or bad, right? Depending. Everybody's hit one of those hooks or those Zenith blades where you're like, I kind of wish that missed.
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, it's the proverbial, like, Kayn from the side of the stage that's just going to pull him away as he gets yeeted into the enemy team. But this is a very interesting matchup. We have not had Leona and Nautilus as the support pairings for a very long time. We're coming out of the Enchanter kind of filled meta. And it's going to be very interesting because Caitlyn obviously has a attack range difference with Kai'Sa, is able to free trade pretty regularly onto him. But Nautilus has the ability to get onto either of these targets with a simple click, whereas Leona with the Zenith Blade will get positioned on the backside. So has to choose targeting very appropriately, more so probably counter engage, let Nautilus hook her, and then she can Zenith Blade onto the ADC and kind of be able to trade out, which sets up perfect Yordle snap traps for the Caitlyn.
Yeah, it almost kind of feels like, you know, whoever engages first, odds are will lose. And it's you're just kind of sitting there like, come on, throw out your hook. You won't do it. You won't.
Yeah, but that's the beauty for the side of King's College with they eventually pick up Caitlyn on R5, the eventual like last, you know, counter pick of the game, and they choose Caitlyn who loves that environment because she does get to free trade. She gets to just auto attack away, get those good timed headshots onto the opponents, and really try to whittle them down as she pushes them into the tower. The difference is with Leona, as opposed to things like the Lux or the Karma that we generally see paired with it, Leona can't do anything when you're under tower except for dive you, and dives in this day and age require a little bit more, IQ than before. It's not as free, especially on a 2-man dive. So it kind of leaves it up to Souls to really either choose to roam and expect Caitlyn to play smart, or B, just kind of stand there like the bouncer at the club and say you're not allowed to walk past this line.
Definitely so. I'm really curious. I'm looking at the junglers though, right? I'm curious where they look to move, because once again, top lane, it's gonna be it's not gonna be an island. I'll tell you that much. It's gonna be fighting all around. No handshaking the farm like we see a lot of the times. Mid lane should be somewhat more chill. I mean, it's just the Sylas run back this time around. The Anivia, we're gonna see that level 1 to 3 sort of range advantage coming through. The Sylas gonna get bullied a little bit, and it's gonna look for that opportunity to get that initial engage. And bot lane is going to be absolutely volatile once again. So the question really is, do you just look to just farm it up, especially with this Kayn being locked in, or do you just go for these fights over and over and over like we've seen King's College do in game 1?
I feel like there's a lot more emphasis placed on the jungler this time because Gwen isn't the best ganker pre-6. Like, she needs that needlework to help kind of create a slow, and there's no setup CC in top lane for her. But Olaf, in a nutshell, after some quick research, has like a 51% win rate into Darius's. That's only like 1,000 matches plat plus in the world. So not a whole lot of data there. But especially pre-6, I feel as though Darius could win out on these. Especially, it didn't look like before that Olaf had taken the Ghost. I could be wrong. But top lane is a little bit of a quagmire. For the most part, I think what Famous Globe wants is for every lane just to be self-sufficient. Just play your pushing lanes, don't die to ganks, and let me just farm. Let me get to 6, let me get to these power spikes to where I'm actually effective in the game. Whereas Kayn should just be attacking everybody on repeat. Like, he should be like that guy from the meme at the party where he's just like slapping kids, slapping the cops, slapping everybody. He should be around just farming as much as he can for these orbs and using that disparity and agency early on to create that advantage.
Yeah, it really is ranked Red Cane City. If I'm looking at these champs right now, 4 out of the 5 members all going to be giving them the red orbs here. I am very, very curious as we are almost ready, RMC, to get onto the Rift. Gotta point it out, obviously, as we do get into game here. RMC going up against King's College. Everything is on the line. Reykjavik King's College can secure themselves this second game. They're moving on into the finals and sending RMC home packing empty-handed. And I've seen the support for RMC in the chat, Reykjavik. I know there's a lot of RMC enjoyers, and now is the time to send those good vibes over. RMC needs your support. We want you, is what they're saying, because they need all the support they can get. Let's see if RMC can turn this thing around in game number 2.
And RMC not looking for volatility, just 5-pointing, like statuettes if you look at the minimap here, making sure nothing crazy happens. The best thing they could do, and it looks as though they're going to do, and that is Kayn's going to start leashless or on the top side of the map, and this bot lane is going to go ahead and get down into the bottom lane and try to create an advantage. If they can get that early dredge line early on, it can almost guarantee an isolated Acathian Rain for Kaisa, and that plus the lethal tempo should be able to proc a lot of damage early on to put them on the back foot right off the bat.
So here, that's the question, but will the execution be so bright? Only time will tell. Is already, man. I'm looking in that bot lane, man, and I look what's getting set up here. RUFed and Deathless waiting in the brush, not showing themselves in a fake leash, perhaps. Go ahead and let Christian and Souls come on over. Do they know is the question? The answer is no. They find the dredge line. The damage does come through already. They're looking to prioritize Deathless. Finds the exhaust. Finds the damage. Christian is free firing on top of him. Looking to stack up that lethal tempo. A lot of shots coming through. And shot gets put down. And RUFed is already incredibly low. That's 2 pots being burnt already.
Yeah, but that's the exhaust now gone from the bottom lane. Christian choosing not to cleanse it, instead walk away, are going to be able to heal up a bit with these health potions early on, but they're going to give up priority over the wave, and this is going to allow Christian to do exactly what Caitlyn wants to do. put you under the tower and punch you in the face over and over again until you either give him a kill or you have to concede the lane. And this is what we want. Acceleration out of the Caitlyn lane to be able to get out of the bot lane earlier and start doing the same thing on a separate part of the map.
Double 3 gank, maybe, like you said, right? When you are this kid, you want to be slapping around all of King's College, looking to farm up those orbs. So James Blade looked for something in this mid lane, didn't quite find it though. We're just seeing that range differential coming out. Nice wall comes through, able to dash through it though, will stay alive, but regardless, not going to be any fun for Voltabiz.
No, Voltabiz getting beat up a little bit more in this matchup than he did the previous one, as it is the bot lane here for RMC that's on the back foot in this disparity. Once again, while it is a little rough here for Voltabiz, here after a recall, we'll have a little bit more access to that Kingslayer and be able to go in for these hard trades, but it's a Nivea. No Tiger has the egg Nivea, so it's not about living once. You can actually live twice, as there might be a little bit of a sneaky push.
Ooh, Ward does get placed down due to RU offend. He's like, uh-oh, I need to get on out of here. Make sure to hook the wall just in case that Zenith Blade was looking to follow. But Souls, a lot of discipline. Not going to look for it just yet. You look at those health bars, though, from the side of Arms here. Both pretty damn low. And Souls, meanwhile, is full health. Got to be careful. Here's Faintest Globe. Looking for James Blade. Going to find a little bit of damage, but that's not all.
And you saw Dad Shot ready to come down like a dad.
Yep, speaking of coming down here, Souls looking for something. Going to force the flash out from RU Fed. Without a Hex Flash available, that is going to be that main flash down for the next 5 minutes.
And opting for the Aftershock, both of them actually, as we get a nice little...
Another fight going down. Ghost does get popped by Faintest Globe. He's going to say, who needs CC if you can run real fast? But Stray Gangsta was able to dodge the undertow, so he will stay alive. Pop Flash and Ghost himself, though, so that will not be available. And RU Fed is going to be the first one to go down. No, he won't. Finds the shield. First blood goes to the hands of Souls, and he will go down. He'll be the sacrifice so that Christian can make it out and stay alive. But that's still first blood, at least in the hands of King College.
And you see the timing from Christian there, making sure to get down the Yordle Snaptrap every time in these trades to be able to get the headshots off.
Ooh, it's Agnivia. Agnivia, will we have scrambled eggs today? It's not looking like, though. Just barely got under that turret. Like you said, you've got that second life. Got to make it count. The Snow Tiger not going to fall just yet.
No, but you already see, the difference and the issue with the Gwen here early on. Now 2 ganks in a row. All they're able to get out is a passive and a flash along the way, which is useful, but doesn't change the makeup of the actual fight here, as it is still just 0-0 and still getting bullied a lot.
Flash forward, Dad Shot. He's getting on top of Stray Gangsta, looking to put him straight in the dirt. Listen, man, you called it. 51% win rate. You know me, I'm a proponent for result-based analysis, and I'm going to be telling everyone that Olaf always wins.
As long as you don't put me on there as the co-signer, like, yeah, Regdor said this is 100% of the time. Look at that crit, though.
Oh my
Bolt of
God.
this is looking like
Oh my
trouble.
God, run, Volt! Run, my brother, as the stream is freezing. I can't quite see it. It's pixels. I don't know if he's dead or not. It looks like he went in with the Kingslayer. But he... What? What? How? What happened? He won? How did he win?
He won. It looks like there might have been a Leona diff. In my mind, he had 1 HP. Leona got a stun because Souls never misses, and then he Kingslayed back in and got the kill. That's what I'm gonna guess.
This is like a conspiracy theory. The footage just got redacted, and somehow, some way, Voltabiz stayed alive and was able to come out on top, pick up the kill against Snow Tiger, and all we saw was once again Souls just leaving the lane. This guy, I don't know what he is. He's not human. I'll tell you that much.
He's got that dog in him. I said it in game number 1. This man just knows to fight, and that is it. But Deathless has done a great job in this laning phase of avoiding the initial move in from Souls and being able to always trade back onto them. That Aftershock, though, as well as the Eclipse, doing a ton of mitigation of that damage, but it only lasts for so long, as Deathless is going to get more and more as we go.
CC immune once again. He's looking angry. A lot of damage comes through as the stream freezes once again. Both are looking for that final auto attack, but that shot wins the trade once again. Faintest Globe was there to clean up if needed, but he's not needed, in fact. And Stray Gangsta goes down once again.
This just kind of reminds me, as now it's going to be James Blade coming in here trying to set up some pressure on this pushing lane. But it just feels like one of those episodes where it's like too violent to actually show on television, so they just do like the still shots. What is happening in these solo lanes? It's just not made for PG content.
Definitely not here. More of that PG-13 angle, unfortunately. But regardless, we have the stats, Regdor. We can see 2-0 for Dad Shot here. Ult comes through onto Snow Tiger. Hijacked as well. That is a feels bad moment. James Blade gonna look to make something happen in this bot lane at the very least, but not gonna find anything so close yet so far. Oh, don't hit him with the emotes. Come on, man.
Hey, listen, it's part of the mental challenges here along the way. You got to get in the head of the jungler. One of the most mental specific roles there is out there. And it does look as though, as we get another 1v1, it didn't work the first 2 times. Let's not do it a third.
Third time's a charm. What are you talking about, Regdor?
Listen, I've seen that too many times in the solo lanes. Let's not try to run it back in the 1v1, as it's, once again, it's just pushing lanes, going down here in the bottom side for King's College, and it's working out for them as they got a nice little 10 CS lead. But it's going to be a lot on Kane here as you look and see, is choosing to go the Manamune and Ravenous Hydra. That ult's going to come through.
Indeed it will. The damage will as well. Won't quite be enough. Those souls taking quite a few turret shots, but he's armored up. Will stay alive. It's going to force RUFed to back off and head back to base here. That's going to be some more plates going into the hands of Christian. Not too much that Deathless can do. At the very least, he is still Deathless at the moment. So can he live up to his name in game number 2, Rector? That's what I'm asking him.
You know, I don't know if you're ever going to go Deathless in competitive games like this, but we like to believe. I like to think the Deathless 3 is just warming up, is getting in there now. Like we've talked about, you really need to get the Evolved Decathian Rain on Kai'Sa to really start being effective in these trades, especially with the disparity in the auto attack range. But now you're starting to see Volt Shot or Volt Abyss really take over.
Yeah, Volt Abyss trying to one-shot, dare you say, Rector. Looking to find Snow Tiger there. A lot of damage coming through, not enough just yet, but we obviously talked about how, you know, those first couple of levels is where Snow Tiger is going to shine, and we saw exactly that range differential coming through. But now that Volt Abyss has all the tools to his disposal, he can look for those engagements to come through. You know, I just thought of it, Rector. Maybe Deathless 3 means that at game 3 he's going to be death. Like you said, he's warming up, he's working up towards it. It's Volt Abyss.
Hey, maybe that is the case. Gonna miss the stun there, but still get the empowered auto attack. And this is where Snow Tiger really has to play smart. Has that automatic push with the ult button right, but has to not overextend to give Volt Abyss the range that they need.
Nice pull in, nice slow coming through. CC immune though, flash forward as well. Save from Straight Gangsta. Looking to go on the 1v1 once again. 3rd time's the charm, Rector. I told you that. And they find it, the shutdown for Straight Gangsta.
Hey, it was a few minutes apart, okay? James Blade was there as well. Come on. Results-based analysis is getting a little wild here tonight, but because they show top, it is going to be the trade of objectives. Ocean Drake going over to the side of King's College with the Rift Herald being started up on the top side for RMC. And this really just favors the side of King's College because they're the ones who are going to have access to these Drakes over and over, as that is a beautiful route set up there.
No way he gets this. Surely nice little killers to coming through, though. The turret shot's actually Deathless. So close. The minion shot doesn't quite take him out, though. But that was such a nice showing from Deathless 3. Souls. Oh, no. Come on. No, don't do it. We just praised him. He just had his moment. Don't do him like this, please. They're going to do it to him regardless, though. Faintest Globe going to pick up that kill.
Yeah, maybe number 3. Game 3 will be the Deathless one for them if they can get there, because right now it's a small kill lead and a little bit of a gold lead under the belt for King's College, who, again, because they have the pushing bottom lane, because Dad Shot's been able to get 2 kills on the top side of the map, it's just allowing Faintest Globe to continue to scale into the game and to stack up these Drakes. It won't be an Ocean Soul this game, but that leaves some room for something cool. Maybe a Hextech Drake. Huge fan of the Hextech Soul.
True. Big proponent of those Hex gates. Always make the game ever so more interesting when it comes to these movements coming through here. As Volt Abyss, not gonna look back. I thought he like looked to move, but instead gonna go ahead and hit that back. Is 2-0 at the moment. pretty on some items. Looks like he's looking to build that Everfrost once again. We saw it. Game 1 was absolutely huge. A straight gangsta gonna miss that pull. What is this, Rector? Now it's looking like the handshake lane top. I don't want this. I want fighting. I want blood.
Hey, listen, it's a mutual assured destruction. They both understand that if they start fighting, they're not going to stop. So you just got to kind of like vibe it out sometimes and take those differences. As you can see, it is the Triforce complete on straight gangster, as opposed to the components sitting there on the side of Dad Shot. Will ward him off a little bit once you get the thing fully stacked up and have all the base AD amped up. That does make him a bit of a menace, and I do see Faintest Globe up there on the top side.
Souls! No way, he just got away with that. Gets rid of both the turrets. Will Straight Gangsta get away with this one is the question. No, they find the undertow slow. So much healing comes through, tries to bring down the hammer, but it won't be enough. And so Dad Shot, mutually assured destruction, like you said, finds the damage coming through. Volt Abyss, big trade coming through here, though. Snow Tiger gonna find his own amount of damage here with that wall, making sure that he can't just run off. Ultimately, neither one is gonna fall. James Blade is here in this bot lane though. There's something. It's the question. Ignite goes out on Snow Tigers. We keep panning back and forth. But now we see James Blade has shown himself, has that rift available, but gonna hold on to it for now. Patience is a virtue.
Patience is indeed a virtue, and something that every League player should keep in mind here, as it is the patience of the side of RMC that should hopefully pay off. That Zenith Blade going a little bit wide, keeping deathless, at least on one death for now, is they need these mythic items to start coming through. It's just the Ravenous Hydra and Triforce complete on the side of RMC.
This shit is so toxic. Come on, man. RUF feds already having a rough time. You don't gotta make it worse. But more importantly, Rick, obviously we gotta keep this more analytical. I'm looking at the gold difference, and this is very reminiscent of game number 1, right? A lot of kills here, 5 kills up for King's College, but still only around 2k gold. Something in this mid laner, gonna have to hold that point for a moment there. Volta Piss in the trade here. James Blade, all that damage comes through, dodges the hook there, comes out of the body, flashes forward, but flashes right into the Everfrost, and he is gonna go down. Meanwhile, on this bot lane, Deathless is gonna stay only 1 death down, looks for 2, won't quite find it though, as both bot laners are gonna fall. Faintest Glow, gonna get some scrambled eggs for him, and double kill going over to him, but Straight Gangsta is here, looking for the 2-man. Can he find it is the question. Kingslayer gonna keep him alive, and they're gonna find the kill. Faintest Globe cannot be killed.
The map has now exploded. That 2k gold lead that you were talking about is now
so much
4k. That is the first tower down and should be a mythic item onto Christian, and they should look to rotate. Tower plating has fallen, but there's still this priority lane that can now push, move on to the mid lane, siege up, and really look to continue to snowball this map. We've talked about Caitlyn a lot in a lot of different games, and it's going to be that second item that's incredibly important. Their ability to continue to push the pace. We do see a serrated Dirk. They listen to me at some point in their life, I'd like to think, because they're not building RFC second. We love to see it.
You've gotten through to them, Rector. After years of pleading, you've finally gotten through to them. But yeah, indeed. Once again, kills are incredibly spaced out in comparison to game number 1, but still Faintest Globe is leading the charge, being 4-0-1. This man just cannot be killed. Deathless might have to give his name on over to him at this point, because Faintest Globe has been putting up one hell of a masterclass, but not over till it's over, Rector. 15-minute mark, and once again, King's College is very much in the lead, kill-wise, gold-wise, dragon-wise as well. And with his next drag up in 5 seconds, I'm curious to see if they're going to look to just start it up immediately. James Blade already on his way down, so maybe we get to see some kind of a scuffle as Faintest Globe is in that top lane.
Yeah, that is Faintest Globe up on the top side. It's going to be taking a reset. Able to get back out pretty quickly here. It's important to note both of them just finishing their smites. They both are at 1200 as those increased effects, and it's also the Ravenous Hydra continuing to get stacked up. Kind of like Dark Seal for AD. Pretty bonkers item.
Oh, flash comes through, def charges as well, though did get stunned, unfortunately. Finds the hook as well, tries to cleanse it. Goes ahead, flashes away, stays alive, is free hitting now. Can he find the damage? This is Christian's moment. He finds a double. Deathless barely escapes. James Blade taking the brunt of things. Ace in the hole finds the mark. So does the Zenith Blade, flashes away. Wall gonna stop Souls from running. It's gonna go down. So will James Blade as well, though. Deathless and Snow Tiger, the only 2 left alive. But look at that shot in the top of this order here, looking for something. If he can find the undertow onto Deathless, that would be huge. Biding his time, he goes in, he sees him low, doesn't quite find the undertow though, but Voltabyss is here as well. They've got him boxed in like cows to the slaughter. Will they find it is the question though. The answer is no. Deathless is gonna get out, so will Snow Tiger, and so instead, it's just gonna be a free drag for King's College.
That was the most scary moment there, is when you are 100 HP trying to recall under the tower and there's a full health Olaf coming your way. But nonetheless, able to trade back and forth in that series of a long trade in the mid lane does equal for the second Drake for the side of King's College. But again, we see a little bit of fight happening on the side of RMC. We've talked about their tenacity over and over again, and it's going to take more time. They have more tools at their disposal than they had in game number 1, but that is not a free out.
Indeed, can they utilize it? It's not a free out. No, it is not. Straight Gangsta goes down. They will find the pickup though. Onto that shot. Finally, Voltabyss looks right on top of him though. Finds the Everfrost stun as well. A lot of damage coming through. Buying time for Faintest Globe. He's on the way. He's running through. They might not even need him though. A double kill for Voltabyss, and Faintest picks up one as well for the road.
But they got Shelly, so not all is lost, right? We got it. We got some kills. We got an objective. This is fighting for more.
Oh my God! Deathless run ace, and no, get down, Mr. President! No one was there to protect him, and the ace comes through, gives him the thumbs up, takes the turret as well. There's nothing on the map that Christian can't have.
Oh, and Christian's level 11. With that ace in the hole with the second point in it, plus a collector, that's around 1100 damage that ace in the hole does. Plus having to execute from death and taxes on top of it. That is beyond a painful sight there, as you're going to see just people get popped by this Caitlyn.
Indeed, we will. Well, we have, and we will continue to see. RUFed doesn't quite find that hook there, and so Souls be able to walk off. But finally, feels like we've reached the calm or the storm, Rector. That Shelly is still available. It's in the hands of James Blade, but honestly, I struggle to see a universe where they can even find an angle to place it. Look at all of these lanes. They're being pushed in. They can't even step into their own jungle anymore, Rector. Okay.
No, that is not their Souls.
Indeed, it is not. It belongs at the moment. The King's College are finding a lot of damage onto Souls, and they pick it up. But Faintest is here once again, looking to get the job done. Finds one. James Blade in the backlines. They're gonna find Faintest Globe. Christian free firing, but that's all he's gonna get. You know what else is free? Death and taxes, and he finds himself in the dirt. This might be the comeback that RMC
Oh, but
needs.
Voltabyss has something to say about it.
Yeah, he does indeed. He's here and he sees James Blade, finds a bit of damage, looking to get on top of him. Ignite comes out as well. Finds the hooks, finds the damage, finds the ult, and oh my God, so much damage comes through. Voltabyss shuts them all down.
7-0 on this Silas. Voltabyss will not be denied. All of their capabilities were utilized in that last team fight, so it's an easy pickup, not able to get away with a shadow step, and just trades back those 2 kills onto the most fed member of King's College.
Yeah. King Faintest falls, but Prince Voltabyss is there to take up the helm, and indeed is able to secure the rest of the kills there. A couple of shutdowns were obviously given on over to RMC, but they lost it just as quickly. Once again, we're at this stage, Rector, 20 minutes in. The goal differential is huge. The drag differential is huge. The kill differential is huge. And it feels like it's only a matter of time before King's College moves on to the finals at this rate.
It's just a slow bleed at the moment. RMC have to find a way to staunch this out. At the moment, not a whole lot of ways. The side of King's College is being very proactive, using the Caitlyn to have the setup, and they just have this beautiful single target just dive onto you type concept with Voltabyss as well as Souls and Faintest Globe. It all just works in tandem with each other in this draft. And you can see what happens is even when they find a good engage from RU Fed, they're just like, fine, we'll just all dogpile onto the same target and just kind of destroy you really quickly here in this like pseudo front to back. And Shelly should be able to get off this charge. They do get themselves a bounty in the process.
They will. And it's like you talked about in the draft, man. You get these meatballs in front of the ADC that could just free fire, and all hell is set loose. And we keep seeing that happen for Christian. Keeps being able to stack up that lethal tempo and pump out so much damage.
And Caitlyn's one of those champions that like secretly has so many techniques of creating spacing for themselves that diving onto it, as we've seen James Blade try to do a few times, diving onto Christian just doesn't work. They use the 90 caliber net to move away. They use the Gale Force to reposition. They use the flash. They have so many tools at their disposal to just say, you guys can do whatever you need to do. I'm good on my own. I'm an independent cat. As they're looking to pick up their soul point.
Indeed, Voltabist looking here to just sow some destruction here. Double golden gold though. James Blade gonna fall into the dirt. Same story for Are You a Fan? And it's looking like it's all over for RMC. Flash over the wall from Deathless, but Voltabist says there's nowhere you can run where I can't find you. Looking at least get the kill though. Straight gangsta finds himself Voltabist though. A little bit of something there. It's the small things. We take those. Played over the wall, and Faintus Globe is here to clean things up. Clean up on aisle 9. Clean up in the jungle, because Faintest is here to take you out. Won't quite find Snow Tiger, but they get the drag. They get 4 members of RMC, and now they're looking to get this bot tier 2 as well.
And they still have the Baron on their side with Christian getting the Drake and then pushing down into this bot lane. There's just so many pressure points from this team of King's College that you just can't respond to. It's impossible, and sad part is they're kind of losing out on both sides. They're losing out on objectives, and they're losing out on kills as well in the process.
Oh, there. That shot. Just barely able to escape the masses. He's using another plant, though. He's finally found himself in a situation he might not get out of. Flashes forward. Is CC immune? There's no way this guy escapes, but it's looking like he will undertow to slow him down. This man actually just got out of there. That is insane, Regdor.
That is a lot. And we're seeing some innovation here with the Jock Show coming through on James Blade. I don't know how I feel about that. But nonetheless, it's an item. It has been built, looking to be able to stick on and build up those resistances in the fights. But sadly, most of these fights have not lasted long enough for Jock Show to get fully proc.
It feels a little too late at this point almost. Just the amount of damage that comes through from every single member of King's College is so incredibly suffocating. It feels like when you kill one, there's 4 other members just waiting to take you down. We see it over and over, and we're gonna see it here once again. Xenoblade goes in. Look at that. No damage being taken on Soul here, but you know who's taking a lot of damage? All of RMC, as they're absolutely cleaned off the map. The TPs came through as well. The tier 3 has fallen. The inhibitor has fallen. And Regdor is looking at me like RMC as a whole team is about to fall as well. King's College marches into the base, and it has been an incredibly strong showing. King's College take game number 2 and move on to the finals.
The Kings reign supreme here in the semifinals. And that wasn't just a showing. That wasn't a strong showing. That was a dominating showing here. And showing why they are the #1 seed with just a classic, I'm going to jump on you and murder all of you style composition. And they did it from start to finish.
Yeah, a very much a you don't get to have fun composition coming through here. And I don't think RMC got to have any fun. They still once again put up one hell of a fight, right? They had their guard up. They couldn't find an opportunity to swing. Felt like once again very reminiscent of game #1 where they're holding the line, they're trying to stem the bleeding, but it just isn't enough. They don't have big enough bandages,
Yeah, it was a bit of old and new here. Like we talked about, this is the preseason. This is a wonky time in League of Legends, and it feels like King's College has the meta read. You still have pushing bot lanes. You still have solid 2v2 in the jungle mid matchup and a top laner that is pretty happy being an independent cat. And you mix all those things together with itemization choices, and it just creates a snowball effect that you can't really match in that. Definitely not saying any downside to RMC. Really tough showing. They made it to the semifinals. That's something to be commended. But King's College just a little bit cut above the competition here with their meta read.
Definitely so, living up to their name, the #1 seed in their league, and that was one hell of a dominating showing. But this best of 3 is over, Regdor, but it's not over yet. The night is not over just yet. We still have another best of 3 underway. King's College is going to move on to the finals, but there is still one more team that can make it. 2 teams are going to have to battle it out in our next best of 3 series that will be coming up shortly, but we're going to throw it to a quick break while we get that ready. And as we say goodbye to RMC, they still put up One hell of a fight, one hell of a showing. We hope to see them again. We'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, after what was an extensive break, we were on the soon for quite a bit here. We were waiting for these teams to get themselves ready. We are finally ready to get this next best of 3 underway. Rector, we are stepping it up, man. We went from navigators. We're going all the way up to legends now, I believe. So it's getting spicy. You thought we were seeing some League of Legends before. We're going to see some League of Legends now.
Is it like capitalized League of Legends now? Before it was lowercase.
Exactly.
You know, some of these games, I gotta be honest, like the differences between divisions sometimes don't even like come through because it's just bloodbath after bloodbath. So we'll have to see if we're gonna get silent and deadly here, or if it's just gonna be like bodacious and loud like the last series.
Definitely. So here, because these two teams, man, there's some heavy hitters. There's some heavy hitters. Once again, we've got the first seed going up against the 4th seed here. We've got York University, I should say, Black going up against Fisher College, Boston. Gonna be one hell of a tough matchup as we actually get to see the standings of both the teams and how they got here.
Yeah, and something that's very important to note is that York University Black got a bye in round 1. And generally you're like, oh, that's great, that's awesome, right? Because they were the first seed. But it's also kind of takes a step back because Fisher Boston has played some more games on this patch. There's probably some scrims and things like that going on in the background. But for the purpose of this tournament, they at least have one more series under their belt with all the new kooky and wacky things going on to give themselves a bit of a meta read coming in here as the underdogs against the number 1 seed.
Definitely so. And I mean, while it doesn't show it here on the graphic, actually, the first game that Fisher College Boston played was against York University Black, ended up losing to them with an FF. So ultimately, that it's so nice to see that the circle, you know, we've come full circle now. And this time around, we got to see if Fisher College Boston can rewrite history.
Yeah, time is flat. It always comes back around or something like that. I don't want to talk about theoretical physics too much. My own head will start spinning around.
That's fair. But yeah, they will be facing each other today, looking for that spot in the finals, as we can see. But let's take a look real quick as to who it is that will be competing tonight. Get a closer look at the teams here, starting with York University Black. We've got Sweet in the top, Unawakened in the jungle, Myo Drag in the mid, Logia in the bot, and Ellen Vent in the support. This time around, I'm not seeing too many no goated names. Maybe the higher we go up in the ranks and the rosters, you know, we start getting a bit more serious. No more goated names coming through, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, it's kind of like who is it? Soul used to go by the name Anime Girl when they were in Proving Grounds, and they're like, I needed to choose a name that was a bit more marketable, and then they're like, I don't know why I chose Soul though, because it doesn't mean anything to me either. So you never know. There's still some out there. We'll have to see for the side of Fisher College Boston if they brought anything cool to the table themselves in terms of names, and it will be Topo in the top lane, which is pretty. I mean, that's pretty good. Dragon Min Kim or DMK there in the jungle, Saranok in the mid lane, and Enthralled and Old Pal making up the bot lane there for Fisher College Boston.
Per usual, a lot of heavy hitters in this lineup here. It's gonna get nasty. That's all I can say. I'm very curious to see who looks to come out on top. Already, we have heard, Rector, that Fisher College Boston will be starting on the blue side. And, you know, we don't just bring up the blue side constantly for no reason. It seems every time we're here, man, blue side superiority is always coming through. Except if you look at last game. But that's not here nor there.
Yeah, no. It's only for what matches us. And something that's important to note here as we talk about these rosters is Old Pal. There is a super important thing about this is because this is a character that we both know pretty well. Trevor was a part of that TFT team over there in Unified Prestige League, and they are quite the character in the sense that they are not afraid on enchanters, they're not afraid on engage to get down and dirty and create some impressive engages that really can set their team up for success.
Yeah, they basically got the whole shebang as well. They are just, I mean, the Rome, dare I say the Rome King, honestly. Trevor is like, when you hear Trevor, you know he's going to be all around the map looking to influence every single lane. He is not just shackled to the bot lane as some supports may be. This man is everywhere at all times.
Absolutely. He's the first player that I said made Karma look like Leona, which is a bit of a feat. And we've talked so much around the bottom lane in that it's still a super important part of this meta. We talked about like around Worlds and even a little bit thereafter before the preseason that it was so much around having the pushing bot lane, the lane that not only sets you up for dragon control early on, but in the mid game, able to keep that push in the mid lane, have the avenue of advantage to the highway called River to make those moves around objectives. And if you have Trevor there in the bot lane, if you have Old Pal on some of these great champions, that can create a sense where you really get the mismatch kind of going, where you're able to make moves before the other team can.
Definitely so. Well, only one way to find out how this is going to play out, or at least get an idea of it, get a semblance of it, and that is to get this draft underway. So let's get right to it as Evelyn first and off the board here as we're waiting for the next. There we go. Get the cat out of here. That's what I want to see. Make sure this cat is not on the record. I don't want to see it. No Yumi moments today.
Yeah, no Yumi gameplay, as well as Tristana taken off the map there. A lot of the Vandal City crew not allowed on the Rift. And you got to see, like, this is, again, just kind of smattering. We've got jungle support, top, ADC, all kind of being taken out here. So no real direction to be going off of here in this first rotation of bans.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like pretty form factor for when you have these really strong teams going up against each other, but you really can never afford to sort of ban a one team member out completely. You can't afford to give 3 bans on over to someone, because then it's just like 4 other members of the enemy team are like, okay, I mean, thanks, we'll be taking our main picks, appreciate it, I guess.
Yeah, and especially at this level, there is so much strength in these individual picks, as we see Riven coming through. This is not a champion that's going to hang out and vibe, and definitely wants to have some kill pressure early on. But laning into Knowing's Ornn, I mean, that's the Stonewall if I've ever seen one.
Definitely. So I'm curious, the Wukong being locked in here for the jungle. A pick that, once again, way back, if you can remember, Rick, or if you think way back in time, was very big for a short while, and then it just kind of disappeared, just kind of fell off the map entirely.
Yeah, just one little nerf and out it went. But here's the thing, and we'll have to see where Unawakened goes with this, because I've heard some rumblings and I've read some things that Wukong with Radiant Virtue is really great. And for those of you who are like, Radiant Virtue, never heard of it, it is a new mythic item on tanks. It really is built around ults. Whenever you ult, you're giving your team ability haste, you're providing healing while in combat every 3 seconds, and it scales with max health, which is super great when you have a ultimate like Wukong's that's used all the time, and you can opt into it as a second item. You can go into Ravenous Hydra first. That's the name of the game here. If you can build Ravenous Hydra, you're doing great. And that's what I think really pulls him back into the meta. So I'm really excited to see what Unawakened's going to be able to do with this.
Definitely so. I'm looking at this draft already, Rector. Listen, normally when we're in these somewhat lower divisions, the beauty of that, there's no meta slaving around. You know, like you see any kind of pick under the sun. This time around, you know, I'm seeing the Maokai coming through. I'm seeing the Ornn, a lot of picks that have become incredibly form factor for this meta. The Hecarim being locked in as well. Very curious to see if this is going to be one of those more lethality Hecarims that we've seen kind of rise a bit more in priority every now and then, or if it is still going to be that more tanky sort of Hecarim coming through.
Yeah, lethality has been the name of the game, and when you look at the enemy team, there's not a whole lot besides Ornn that is really standing in your way from going into that damage. If you can one-shot 3/4 of the team or 3/5 of the team, well, congratulations. That's a one team fight if you ask me here for Dragonman Kim. But you also have that tank busting in this Senna for Enthralled. That is the scaling threat that will eventually be able to take down anybody and everybody on the Rift. So there's a nice bit of a power bridge here from the early game into the mid and late with this LeBlanc Hecarim jungle mid into the Senna for the late game.
I was about to say, overall, it definitely feels like they're really covering all their bases. They've got the early, they've got the mid, they've got the late secure. This time around, though, Rector, we're seeing this Varus once again. We just can't seem to escape him, man. I'm curious to see how he fares this time around. He's got the additional poke coming through with the Sona as well, looking to just match the amount of range that's coming out from the Senna and the poke that can come through from those.
Yeah, we're hoping it's not lethality again. I think on hit or even AP is the way to go. Don't think you need to opt into the AP here with the Akali there as well. Loves being close to the only magic damage user. But it is that poke style that you talked about, these very short trades. And with the Maokai in the lane, they have to be careful, as I'm assuming this will be the farming Maokai and Senna with the support item. And that opens up this beauty of the all-in threat that can exist there at level 2 as soon as you have that Twisted Advance online. And there's nothing really stopping them pre-6 from looking for these heavy trades.
So here, overall though, I'm excited to just get into the game itself right there. This is gonna be I want another bloodbath. I don't think we're gonna get the same kind of bloodbath that we got in game number 2 of our last best of 3 series. Just looking at the comps themselves, a lot of components I feel are gonna need some time to get online, get to the point where they want to fight. But I feel like once we do get to see these fights coming out, oh boy, it's gonna get interesting.
Oh yeah, it's definitely gonna get interesting, and really like taking into effect here, the junglers, Hecarim and Wukong, are both ones that do have the potential to gank early on, can go affect these wave states. And really, if you look at the solo lanes, if LeBlanc gets a lead, it becomes really hard to play the game for Akali and for everybody else when LeBlanc starts to roam. And equally, the same thing could be said in the opposite direction. Riven is really where my mind goes to right now, is because Riven has kill pressure early on into Ornn, and if they're able to get some kills, if they're able to get a CS advantage, it becomes very unplayable. But if Ornn gets through the early levels, if he's able to get onto a Bomby Cinder or a Legion, Ages of the Legion, whatever that sort of early tank item is for him in the lane, then he gets to the point where it's like, well, Riven actually can't do anything, and turn now has to try to look for roam timers. So really going to be interested to see where Hecarim and Wukong choose to go early on, and who they choose to try to, get ahead in these matchups, whether that to be able to stonewall the Riven or to give Akali even more kill threat into the LeBlanc.
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of the beauty of the Ornn pick as well. It's because as soon as you lock them in, you're just straight chilling. You don't have to go crazy in the lane. As long as you're going fairly equal, life is pretty good for you as the Ornn.
Yeah, it's jokingly what I always tell anybody who plays Ornn, or anytime I cast Ornn, is that Ornn doesn't care about you. Ornn doesn't care about even getting CS. Ornn just wants experience. As long as Ornn's getting XP, he is scaling into the game, which is not usually a way that we talk about tanks, but is so true with him, and especially with these item changes. When you choose things like the Jock Show, you're really scaling as a tank into the game and being a late game insurance policy to say that who's going to kill me? Like, who's going to get through me? I'd rather be 5,000 XP or HP with no damage and just be able to stand there and laugh at you as you try to take me down.
Exactly. He's like, what are you going to do, bro? That's right. You're not going to do anything. And just sends out the ulti and then lets his little minions do the work for the rest of his team. Go, my children. Get me those assists. I'm looking to farm them up. But yeah, it's like you said, right? Really, you can just straight up chill. You just scale into the late. You provide so much utility for your team with your ult, with those ornaments, especially once those start coming online. Looking to opt who he's going to give them to. Especially, I'm thinking he gives them to the Akali. He gives them to the Varus. They already hurt by themselves. They'll just hurt even more.
they cause more pain. Yeah, more pain is the name of the game. Especially with the tank item changes, we'll have to see what route Maokai chooses to kind of go here. Used to be a Sunfire Cape and an Iceborne Gauntlet style user. Now Iceborne Gauntlet, formerly the Frostfire Gauntlet, has that sheen in it. Not something that Maokai really wants to opt into. Not too many people building that nowadays. But he could, choose to go the Jock Show route into like a Demonic Embrace, can still build Fimbulwinter. He has a lot of interesting choices, and especially being down here in what is a poke style lane as the melee user, his early itemization is going to matter a lot. I'd love to see him pick up a Warden's Mail and just first item a Frozen Heart and just kind of laugh at Varus as he comes back to the lane and he doesn't deal any damage to him. I'm a huge fan of that idea.
Yeah, and also Sunfire, obviously, you got to mention, no longer a mythic, right? Its own item now, just providing its base stats of what I believe is around 50 to 60 armor, if I'm not mistaken, and like 400 HP, something along those lines. I'm not the color. I don't know the numbers. I just know it does things, makes you tanky. Look at that. He's already chilling that top lane, already dancing it up.
Yeah, already Jay chilling on the Rift as we do get a nice little 5-point here. Benjamin here, making his way around. Looking for this early invade, and they missed the last auto.
Damn.
No extra XP for the lane.
Unfortunate. Won't be getting that level 2 faster in that lane. One more hit would have done it. Don't have the attack speed for it just yet. Hate to see it, but it is what it is. Some would say that's foreshadowing. I'm not going to be one of them, though, right here. You never know.
I would never foreshadow anything, but that is an early ward to put down to try to stave off any kind of invades. Hecarim still clears incredibly efficient here. in the early game, and as we've talked about in the prior series, getting the treats, getting the extra gold, and getting to those higher smites, incredibly important. We saw some disparities in the first series, and that will be some extra XP going over to the top side there as they clear out that final ward.
So, gonna make it ever harder for Benjini to make anything happen, but regardless, you can see the mismatch here in the jungle, both pathing towards opposite sides here. Dragon making DMK, as we mentioned, want to get Benjamin as far as possible, as quick as possible, because knowing knows, dare I say, he's just got to straight chill. He has just got to survive, get his money up, get his XP up, and life will be golden for him.
Golden indeed, as we can see Enthralled already trying to farm up these souls, but it is a double range matchup, so has to be careful in making those decisions early on, because as you can see, you are the only one who can hit them, but both of them can hit you. Easy math there says that's going to hurt a little bit.
Indeed, it does. That poke that comes through can be quite massive here, but coming through all this, well, Topo does need to be careful. Now he's just itching for that warden spell. Surely now he's just like, he's thinking about it. Like, you planted the idea in his head, now he has to act.
Yeah, it's such a great item, and we were talking about in a few different spaces about the fact that tank laning is really hard to navigate right now because you don't have like a Noon Quiver equivalent. It used to be that Bomby Cinder, but like you mentioned before, no longer a mythic item, only on the Sunfire Cape. And so that creates an interesting thing where it's like, what do I actually go back and buy? What's my first item breakpoint? And while they are legendaries, the things like the Frozen Heart, extremely useful early on, and that Warden's Mail does a really great job into these AD users of just saying, you know, tough skin, stone skin stops you from really taking damage until you guys get like a mythic under your belt.
Already, need a bit of a collapse in this mid lane. Benjini was here looking to make something happen, coming all the way from top lane, but not quite gonna find anything onto Myodrag there. It's gonna stay safe for now. Do that unawakened. In his way on down, slowly but surely clearing out that blue buff, and then it'll be fully done. He'll just have the crab left, and then maybe look to make something happen here. Spot is looking to shove.
Yeah, they've gotten that shove in, and they're making sure that there's no opportunity to get any vision out, as they do have that one right there outside of the Tri-Breast entrance.
Coming through, a lot of damage as well, ticking. Myodrag just barely gonna stay alive. A close call, almost giving Serenok that lead that we talked about. Earned the game, make mid lane unplayable.
And that was solo bolo, as that is just all on their own. Nothing to be spoken of in terms of jungle intervention, even though it was unawakened there trying to cover the play. It's going to push
flash forward, twisted advance coming through, a nice flash though from Phoenix, gonna make sure he stays all right. TP's coming through as well. Myodrag is down here. Can they make something happen? It's a question. A lot of damage here onto Enthralled. The heal does come through, but it's not gonna be enough. First the blood for Myodrag. Topo turns back around to get some more hits and almost goes down, but he'll be a-okay. And ultimately, only one member will fall, but it goes into the hands of Myodrag.
Yeah, that is the exhaust plus flash used on Phoenix here. And because Unawakened covered that mid lane play is now on the Krugs down here, it means that it's just a longer timer for Myodrag to be able to make these plays. Although Unawakened does need to be careful though. Was the TP coming through there by Topo back into the bottom lane as a Ruby Crystal in their pocket.
So already a good showing though from York University. They're gonna put their foot down. Why? They are the #1 seed here. First drag. He's up. No one looking at it just yet here. DMK. And then Myodrag makes something happen here. A lot of damage does come through. They find the tether. Uses the shroud. Actually pushes him out of it almost. Doesn't quite. So Myodrag is able to run around. But no! The Sigil of Malice is still going to find the damage. That was such a nice play coming through from DMK. Didn't work, but regardless, they still found the kill. So who honestly cares?
Yeah, at the end of the day, really disciplined there. As now Serenok needs to be a bit careful. Has used the Distort to be able to get that damage down, but it was really just taking their time working through the Shroud to make sure they can get that final blow down on Myodrag here. As the game continues to be a little wonky, right? Junglers taking each other's camps. We've got some mid laners, DP and bot, etc. kind of going through, but I am going to be interested because Enthralled's first component here is a Ruby Crystal here for the attack damage carry, not something we generally see So be interested to see what they're gonna build into, unless it's like a Black Cleaver first item.
Yo, Heartsteel Senna? New meta coming through here? Something like that? Jock Show Senna?
Stop.
Oh no, you should tell that to Drag, who's found his way to the back lines, finds so much damage, and Phoenix is gonna be the one that gets the kill ultimate. But already, this bot lane is feeling unplayable for Fisher College.
Yeah, and a lot of this is off these rotations. Twice now, Drag has been on the bottom side of the map. Twice now, somebody has died from York University in the process. And part of that's like almost the micro of how you play the lane, of Papo being on the bottom side closer to the alcove, while Enthralled was playing on the top side, which makes him more susceptible to be the first one to get engaged on in these games. Part of the reason you choose a champion like Maokai is because that Twisted Advance is point and click. You are going to get the CC down no matter what. And that's really great lockdown, especially for Natali.
So, ultimately though, York's been doing a great job of keeping that in check, keeping this whole bot lane in check, cutting them down at every possibility. Dragon is still available here. He's unawakened. He's clearing his way on down. DMK, on the other hand, says, I will go ahead and take some of your camps for myself. Thank you very much. Now he's looking for that gank in the top lane here. Benjamin, though, and lower has to be careful. Horn has been sounded. They're looking to find time for him, create some space, get some damage down. Benjini on his way on back. The 2v1 is ahead of us now, but can no one find anything? The answer is no. Benjini gonna grab himself the kill. A nice attempt by knowing, though.
Really good attempt by knowing. If they were able to connect the second half of the Horn onto the Riven, might have been a little different, but it was a game of inches there to get that first kill on the top side. So we can see Benjini opting to go towards that Ravenous Hydra. Everybody's talking about it. It's all over Twitter. It's a buzzword, Ravenous Hydra. Pretty great of an item, and Riven is somebody who uses it especially well.
Listen, man, AD Magi, love to see it. Sort of like AD. Not quite. A little more forgiving, I feel. Obviously, you can stack it up with those minions, with camps, but regardless, it always has been a good item on Riven. Now it's even more so here, but already we're seeing, in comparison to our last best of 3 series, a lot more of this match. We're going to a lot more of these cross-map plays going through. We had that kill in the top, which translated into a free dragon, which is also translating into a free herald here for the side of Fisher College.
The cross maps are much crisper. It feels like in this game, and much crossier. Yeah, more crisscross. You know, they will make you jump. As it might be a bit of a dive down here in the bottom lane. If
they know it's coming. They know it's coming, dude. They're already hitting the emotes, but just looking to sow some fear into the meat taste best when scared here. A lot of damage coming out though from Haji onto Thrall there, and Unawakened
that was the use of the ultimate.
Yeah, that's true. That was out. Surprisingly enough that he used that, even though maybe it's just baiting him in. Really had to sell the idea that the dive was coming. You know, ooh, you come through here from Drag, but just a bit of crazy.
Yeah, Drag being very intelligent, waiting for the distortion so that it doesn't hit the E2 and then they just distort back to their original position here. Is knowing is continuing just to fight this slobber knocker against Riven. Saying, Benji, you might have got a kill on me, but it's not mean that you get to just get a free lane now.
Only not. A lot of trading coming through here, and my god, DMK, he's just taking everything that Unawakened owns. He's taking his whole jungle away from him in there once again, taking away the Raptors here while Unawakened is still on that bot side here at the moment, though. Curious to see where DMK looks to head next. Nothing available objective-wise on the map as that Rift Herald in his hands. Curious to see if he looks to place it top lane soon, but for now, backs are just going to come through here with some more vision being placed.
Yeah, I feel like if I'm DMK, I might want to try to wait because that's only half the plate left on the mid lane tower to be able to get the early tier 1 and give Serenok more of agency to make these rotations around the map. We've seen it from Drag and how effective they can be. Is now it's Serenok who is on the back foot.
Close call. They're able to dash away there. Unawakened was looking at him. He was hungry, but quite gonna find him going in once again. Denton Glow is doing quite a bit of damage, but Benjini is here now as well. The ulti comes through the piercing shadow, but a bit of damage to be found here. Too much DMK is here now as well, though, as Drag gonna step on forward. A lot of damage comes through with Ignite as well. Perfect execution and perfect death as well. He'll take one with them at the very least.
Yeah, that was definitely some great hands from Drag to make that play happen. But at the end of the day, like you said, does trade 1 for 1. Now the junglers are just going to cosplay as mid laners.
Exactly so here. DMK looking to make sure this wave gets shoved on in. Unawakened doesn't quite have the damage yet to stop him there. Already 2 members now. Any Ravenous Hydra builders in the chat? We've already got 2 of them on the Rift here. As Unawakened, be careful here. Look at it, dash in and bit off more than he could chew. DMK says, I don't care about your turret. I want your life.
The stacks have been acquired now. Like we talked about, a bit easier to stack up, but nonetheless gives the same effect. Because now that's exactly what we wanted to see. Half the plate taken, and will leave that tier 1 standing just by a little bit. But the gold difference is still there. Now a CS lead, a kill lead, a gold lead, all the things going to the side of DMK.
All the leads. All the leads. They want everything.
He's got it all.
He's got it all indeed. Obviously the damage from that initial Rift Arrow being reduced somewhat. That turret is going to stand a little bit longer. You're going to need a little more damage to crack that thing open. But for now, see some more rooms coming through here. Benjamin and Dragon are here once again onto Mayo Drag. There can only be one dragon on this Rift, and it's not going to be Mayo Drag. I can tell you that much. Down he goes, but yet again.
Yeah, yet again, and this is what happens when Hecarim gets on a roll, like we talked about, has the ability to really shut down, right at this point, 4 out of 5 members of the team, only in knowing who can really stand to the onslaught as Unawakened being chased down in his own jungle.
It he is. Has to be careful, running circles around him. I think he got the steal, but it might be a buff transfer complete. No, he didn't even get the steal, and now down he goes. The shutdown into the hands of Unawakened. He'll be traded back. The Ownhorn does get dropped, though, looking for at least one pick before he goes down. Can he find it? Is the question, and the answer is gonna be no, he will not. Benjamin just barely staying alive. The Omni Vamp coming through from Ravenous is just too diff.
Indeed, and this is trading their life, now 3-1, but still winning out on the trade overall there, 2 for 1 on the play. And again, I'm befuddled by the bottom lane here for the side of York University. We've got a Kindle Gem on Enthralled. The only thing I can assume is that maybe they're going the Locket build. It was a pretty popular thing on Senna at one point, and that is actually just building Locket and Redemption and just providing a lot of shielding and heals. A true support style build. But it's that plus the Catalyst of Aeons here on Topo. I'm not a big believer in taking the Rod of Ages on Maokai, but we're gonna see how it turns out, because right now it's the top side of York University that's really popping off, so they might just be trying to take a more supportive role here on the bottom side.
Yeah, look to just kind of mitigate any of that damage that's coming out. Look to stem any bleeding that's coming through here. Make sure it doesn't turn into a gash that they can't cover up, but we'll have to wait and see here. As for now, Logia has also picked up that shield bow, gonna have that in his repertoire in comparison to Enthralled, who is still struggling to get those antidote. What is this man building, Rector? I gotta know, man. What is it?
I don't know.
What is he?
I don't.
He's got so many components. What is he trying to get?
Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's Locket of the Iron Solari. I'm going to like triple check that my mind's not crazy. Yeah, he's got the pieces for Aegis of the Legion, so it is gonna be Locket Senna here in game number 1.
All right, and it's going to be a stunned up DMK. Will it be a dead one is the question. The answer is no. Ulti getting dropped from Topo. Same from Enthralled, though. Just doesn't have quite that damage. Look at it dash in. Unix incredibly low, incredibly dead. Down he goes. DMK in the top of the fight is almost going to go down. Not quite. There he goes. He's out of the picture. Logia looking for those free hits onto Enthralled. Can he find it? Pops the shield bow, and he'll grab the kill. Topo flash over the wall to try and escape. Everyone's on his tail, though. Can he get out of that one alive is the question. To find the shuriken, will he take it? Yes, he will. A lot of damage comes through, and Topo will fall.
This is the difference between having an actual front line and not. Like we talked about here, not a whole lot coming through in terms of actually a solid front line, knowing and Unawakened continue to scale into this game and get a bit thicker. But because of that, Benjini up here in the top lane, able to get that tier 1 and working on this tier 2. Gonna have to finally back away.
And in Phoenix, the support to defend the turret had to blow the flash, make sure that he doesn't go down here. But the assault has been halted for now. So the tier 2 will stand. Rift Herald is available, and I'm already seeing BMK on his way on over there. We're seeing that smite differential come through once again as that fully unleashed smite, 1.2k damage. Harrison to Unawaken, who still needs 3 more trees. He's got to start feeding his dog, man. Come on, man. This is just animal abuse at this point. Get him some food. And speaking of animal abuse, Ornn might not be an animal, but regardless, he might just be dead here as BMK is looking to run him down, smites him to slow him down as well. Serenok is here to pick up some free assists or maybe the kill as well. A lot of damage coming through. You got to take him out now or never, and it's looking like never's going to be the answer. A nice ult from Phoenix. They're still staying alive. BMK incredibly low. They find Phoenix though. Flash forward, and they're going to go ahead and find themselves DMK. Down he goes. Is this the turnaround needed from York University? The answer will be yes. 3 more members are gonna eat the dirt, and York University are looking strong.
The Jock Show doing so much work there for knowing. You saw once he turned purple, he got beefed up. He had the resistances, and they just could not put him down. And that allows them to collapse, and really it's all about Myodrag as well as Logia here now coming online. Both have their mythic items complete and some components for the second, and they're really starting to shine in these team fights.
Absolutely. Shining indeed. A great showing so far, but it's not even close to being over just yet. A lot for these 2 teams to chew through, but it's nice to see that honestly everywhere on the Rift it's feeling fairly equal here. Serenok does need to get a 2 more kills under his belt here in the bot lane. We're starting to see a bit of a differential coming through here now. Logia 4-0 has that Rage Blade now as well as the stopwatch. I can already see the feels bad moment coming where you just dedicate everything you've got onto him. He clicks that, and then his boys rock up and they save him. I'm curious to see when that's going to happen, but regardless, he's looking menacing.
It's a very intelligent component by, at this point, knowing that you are 4-0, knowing that you've got a Drake in the next 2 minutes. To be able to have that around the objective is a huge time buyer. And we continue to talk about how the bottom lane feels a bit interesting. That is the Locket now online for Enthralled. And I do believe that Topo is going to be going into either Jock Show or maybe Radiant Virtue here on the Maokai, and then using that Catalyst to go into Abyssal Mask. But nonetheless, very supportive bot lane here for the side of York University. Vice having a full-fledged ADC there in the bottom lane.
Not only so here, no one there to support Benjini at the moment, though, when he needs it. You see the ult come through, though, from Enthralled. It's looking like he might just survive. Flash forward, he's dashing, he's jumping, he's prancing, and he's gonna get under the turret just barely.
But had to use everything in the kitchen sink to be able to survive. Doesn't have that mythic item yet. Same thing for DMK, who we've all talked about. These 2 were the shining lights in the early game, but now that's being stifled away with all these items coming online. Chain Corruption
coming through. So many ultimates gonna get dropped here, but look at those red HP bars getting lower and lower. Topo, it's in the thick of things, but it doesn't matter. Too much damage comes through. You can tank all you want. Serena gonna pick off Maya, though. Very close. Ultimately, though, gonna grab themselves this turret here, going fairly even, 2 for 1. The bot lane, the supportive lane here, is gonna go down as Thrall has been DC. They killed him so hard that he had to leave the game. Hate to see it. Riftfield's gonna get dropped here. Benjamin needs to be careful here. A lot of damage comes through. Riftfield gonna crash in. That's gonna be some more damage. And now with this Drake being up, we're seeing how York University Black are gonna get first move onto it.
They're going to have the first move, and this is, again, what we talked about in the last series and comes up again in this series now, is the meta read and understanding where we're kind of at.
Yep, I can tell you where we're about to be at, though, with fighting wise, and it's in this rare bench, and he stepped too far forward. He's about to pay the price. Can't heal enough. Down he goes. No one there to back him up further. And ultimately, he's going to eat the dirt, lose quite a bit of stacks here. Serenok looking for something. Bit of damage does come through. Doesn't quite find the kill.
Doesn't quite find the kill, but it is indeed Fisher College, who seems to have a pretty unsure handle on this game. In the sense that they've kind of opted into these very squishy, very bursty style champions, but they can't seem to find the plays that they need. They can't get the damage down before they just all start to kind of melt away. It is the Radiant Virtue on top of being the only thing of a front line at this point. for them, but even they can't really get in there and get anything going along the way of a strongly executed team fight. So far, it's all been York University.
Yeah, so far, struggling somewhat here. I'm just looking at knowing right now, man, with that Jock Show, he was big before. It's upgraded now, so those stats are going to be even higher here. Already has the bombies as well as the chain vest, so most likely probably going for that Sunfire next, just stacking that armor up. He is going to be so incredibly tough to kill. Maybe they find an angle. Hold that thought, Rector, because they might find an angle here. Enthralled incredibly low. The cycle gets dropped, and they find the first pick. Topo's next up on the list. Down he goes. He tried his damnedest to make something happen, but finds nothing in return. Unawakened barely stays alive there from the burst coming out from Serenok. Just needed maybe 2 more AP under the belt. Doesn't find it now. Misha looking for something on DMK. A lot of damage coming through. Ulti gets dropped as well. Benjamin's here in the shroud and no longer gets burnt to a crisp. Down he goes as the Baron has been started up here by York University Black. Serenok is here. DMK's on the way. So is Benjamin. It's a 3-on-4. They don't have the numbers. Do they have the damage? Do they have the hands, Rector? I don't know.
Thralled is back up and trying to make their way.
Goes in, a lot of damage comes through. Phoenix the first to go down though. A lot of low HP bars, but they find the pick. Logia goes gold. DMK's here to clean things up. And they find 2 more picks, knowing the last one standing. He went purple, but is he gonna grab these kills? It's a question. I'm gonna say no, because Enthralled is here as well. And an ace, just when you think they don't have the handles on this game, Rector, DMK says, let me show you how we do things.
Able to turn it around, and the Baron will be theirs for the taking. Big part of that fight was being able to siphon off Chimera Drag and get that kill down, be able to kind of work around and start to burst everything out until it was just solely knowing left. But
Misha's here. Drag looking for something. Here goes gold. Someone's got to kill this Baron quick though. Flash over the wall and Enthralled. Gonna go ahead and grab that kill, and there we go. Now the Baron goes down.
That's Baron on all 5 members. I believe Benjini made the resurrection just in time. And they've got some work to do. Tier 1 still standing down on the bottom side of the map. They have not been able to really touch these Tier 2s in mid and top. A lot of standing gold, but it's important to note, just a minute 30. And a minute 30, that's the Ocean, or no, not the Ocean Soul, the Chemtech Soul here for the side of York University.
Definitely so here. Get those lane states right, like you mentioned. A lot of pushing to do if they want to take out this standing free real estate. And Benjini is going to look for that bot. Tier 1 is going to go down here. But other than that, it's going to be tough for them to get anything else unless they look to group up here. York University have been doing a great job of keeping those lanes pushed, making sure that there's no pressure applied, and they're reaping the rewards right now.
Reaping the rewards indeed. I wanted to say it earlier because it's such a cool name. You know what the Jock Show ornament's called?
Oh, wait, what is it?
The Unspoken Parasite.
Whoa,
that's so cool.
That's actually sick.
Yeah. Actually, pretty dope. There's some other good ones, like, I can't say it, but the upgrade to Divine Sunder is like God Killer, essentially.
Okay, that's kind of dope. Yo, Unspoken Parasite. That's like, damn. I mean, I wouldn't think Parasite when I'm looking at knowing. My man's more like the Unspoken Mount or something, the Unspoken Behemoth. But, you know, regardless, it works. We'll take it.
He is behemolythic.
Behemolythic.
That's the word
there
we
it
learned.
is.
Yeah.
Yep, we did learn that word indeed. Is quite behemolythic to say the least. And look at that, he's getting these upgrades going. Who is he giving it to is the question here. Oh, it is going to be Oja has that upgraded bow shield as well. Let's see if they can make something happen. Shield bow. I always say bow shield. I don't know why. And I'm also going to have to cut this fight here because GMK is looking to go in. A lot of damage from Enthralled as well with the Ornhorn being called. The fight is sectioned off and DMK will fall. Does this spell the end for his team is the question. The answer might just shock you. So far, it's looking like a resounding no because Benjini is here and so is Serenok. They're going to go ahead and just wipe the floor of York University.
That fight being sectioned off allowed them to get knowing, finally whittled down. The mountain has been crumbled, and they